the supreme dragon of the era of Tamers. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 301 True Military Emblem. Chen Wei opened his eyes and looked at Kai Ling, who was excited in front of him. He couldn't help but smile. Don't worry, it's not easy to transform into a dragon. I still need to prepare enough high-level dragon crystals. Hearing the voice in her mind, Kai Ling nodded slightly. After the lesson of almost failing to transform into a dragon, she would not make the same mistake again. Report to the instructor, I have successfully entered the spiritual body. After comforting Kai Ling, Chen Wei looked at the instructor, who turned around and was about to leave in the distance and said, Zhu Hao. Instructor Zhu Hao paused, and his resolute face with his back to the students was full of disbelief. What did he just hear? A freshman has entered the spiritual body in an afternoon? Hearing this crazy voice, the freshmen present also cast their surprised eyes to the source of the voice. Oh, it turned out to be Chen Wei. That's okay. After seeing the face of the speaker clearly, the freshmen who had been tortured by the spiritual body for an afternoon immediately changed their expressions from questioning to envy. It must be said that the students who can be admitted to Zidane University have more or less pride in their hearts. However, after several blows, their pride had disappeared without a trace in front of Chen Wei. Ahem, Instructor Zhu Hao coughed lightly, calmed down, turned around, and looked towards Chen Wei with a calm expression. Show me. The spiritual body after entry can condense the source power between heaven and earth into a ball and store it in the spiritual orifice of the body. Hearing this, Chen Wei stood up and clenched his right palm slightly under the enthusiastic gaze of everyone. Instantly, a faint source power fluctuated in his right fist, and then a wisp of source power visible to the naked eye irrigated towards Chen Wei's fist frantically. Well, not bad, barely qualified. Instructor Zhu Hao stood with his hands behind his back, with a decent look on his face. Team Chen Wei, follow me. Seeing this, Chen Wei's mind moved, and he quickly dissipated the source power absorbed in his fist, and then looked at the excited teammates around him. What are you standing there for? If you don't catch up, by the time we finish engraving the military emblem, there will be no food in the cafeteria. In the spacious and bright office of the Yongli Island Beast Taming Base, a burly man with a square face and two golden stars on his shoulder straps, sitting on an exquisite chair, glanced at the figure on the three-dimensional screen. Instructor Zhu, what's the matter? The man frowned. Report to Lieutenant General Yun, there is an extremely outstanding genius among the freshmen I am responsible for this year. It only took him one afternoon to master the spiritual body. The strength of his physical body is comparable to that of a king-level strong man. I would like to ask you to help him engrave the giant spirit military emblem. Zhu Hao's eyes were filled with a hint of nervousness and expectation. Yun Xiangwen, Lieutenant General of the 13th Beast Taming Regiment of Yongli Island, an epic peak beast master, only one step away from becoming a legendary strong man. If Lieutenant General Yun can help Chen Wei engrave the military emblem, there may be a chance to engrave an epic military emblem. Who is it? Chen Wei. Lieutenant General Yun's eyes flashed, and a figure suddenly appeared in his mind. Yes, sir. Zhu Hao's face lit up. He didn't expect that even Lieutenant General Yun knew about Chen Wei's existence. In this way, the commander might really make a move. I have been paying attention to this young man for a long time. He is indeed a rare genius, Lieutenant General Yun said after a while of hesitation. How about this? I still have some time now. You will lead Chen Wei's team to the office later. This time, I will engrave the military pattern for them. Thank you, sir. Zhu Hao saluted hurriedly. After speaking, Yun Xiangwen hung up the communication in front of him, and then looked towards the direction of Rosewood University and sighed. With the support of two master-level alchemists, Hanju Iao and Tanzuking, this little guy is really lucky. As soon as he finished speaking, he looked down at his palm in a daze. If you don't become a legend, you will end up being an ant. There are still 10 years before the opening of the Tai 8-turn golden pill. I hope that one or two more golden pills can be produced this time, otherwise he will have to gamble. Under the leadership of Instructor Zhu Hao, Chen Wei's team passed through the heavily guarded areas inside the beast taming base, and had to accept guard inspections and interrogations many times. Facing the guards' questioning, Zhu Hao glanced at the nervous students behind him and said softly, These are all the freshmen that General Yoon specifically wants to see. Understood. After confirming that everything was correct, the guard waved his hand. Boom. The iron wall that even the dominant beasts would find difficult to break through in a short period of time began to rise, revealing a spacious entrance to the passage. Not long after walking into the passage with the instructor, Chen Wei saw a bright and tidy desk, and the desk was facing a large screen that almost covered the entire wall. Report to the commander. Chen Wei's team has been brought here. Zhu Hao raised his head and said. Thank you for your hard work. A steady voice sounded. Chen Wei's pupils suddenly shrank, and then he immediately looked in the direction of the desk. Sure enough, there was suddenly a square-faced officer who was examining the information there. Teleport. Chen Wei blinked. He was sure that there was absolutely no one there just now. The materials for the giant spirit army pattern are still being prepared. Do you want to sit down and drink some tea first? Yun Xiangwen poured hot water into the teapot and began to make tea. Hello, Lieutenant General Yun. Seeing the gold star on the shoulder strap and the name card on the chest, Chen Wei and the team members subconsciously saluted. Don't be so reserved. Come, have a sip of tea first. Yun Xiangwen directly poured 9 cups of hot tea. Good tea. Chen Wei took the tea and took a sip. It was like a stream of heat flowing into his body. He only felt that a gentle energy was constantly nourishing his source star, and even the fatigue of today's practice was removed by more than half. Yu Zilman and Yu Xianglu looked at each other, and then they both picked up the teacup and took a sip. Seeing this, the other team members with reserved faces followed suit. The giant spirit army pattern has strong and weak. Chen Wei, which army pattern do you want to choose? Seeing the group of youthful students in front of him relaxed a lot, Yun Xiangwen talked about business. Lieutenant General Yun. Is there any difference in the giant spirit military emblem? Chen Wei glanced at instructor Zhu Hao who was standing up right beside him, with a look of surprise. There are 2 types of giant spirit military emblems. One is the standard military emblem. Because a lot of runes have been reduced, the amplification effect of beast control cooperation is relatively general, but because of its high applicability, it is easier for freshmen to learn beast control cooperation, so it is usually engraved by military training instructors. The other is the original giant spirit military emblem that has not been reduced and requires extremely high physical fitness of the user. This kind of domineering military emblem cannot be engraved by non-king beast masters, but your current physical fitness is several times stronger than that of a king beast master. Although engraving the original military emblem is risky, it is not a big problem. Do you want to try it? Yun Xiangwen looked at Chen Wei deeply. His tone was somewhat tempting. Chapter 302 Epic Military Pattern. There is such a difference between the giant spirit army emblem. Hearing this, all the team members looked at instructor Zhu Hao curiously. Seeing this, Lieutenant General Yun glanced at everyone and said, the original version of the giant spirit army emblem is extremely dangerous for freshmen. For safety reasons, I will only engrave it on Chen Wei. As for you, you can only choose the standard military emblem. Lieutenant General Yun, I would like to ask, if I engrave the original version of the giant spirit army emblem, is the risk within the controllable range? Chen Wei asked boldly. Of course, Lieutenant General Yun nodded slightly. Even if there is a problem in the process of engraving the original military emblem, with Chen Wei's current strong physique, he can still modify the original military emblem to the standard military emblem in the shortest time. Then trouble you to help me engrave the original military emblem, Chen Wei said. Sir, the military emblem materials are ready. At this time, a secretary wearing gold-rimmed glasses and a white uniform entered the office and said. Then let's get started now. Lieutenant General Yun showed a warm smile on his face. Taking the star ring handed over by the secretary, Yun Xiangwen smiled and said, to engrave the giant spirit military pattern, you need to open up 9 specific meridians. It will be a bit painful. How about some pain-relieving pills first? Chen Wei nodded, took the pain-relieving pills handed over by the secretary, and then swallowed them. A smile appeared on the corner of General Yun's mouth. The next second, a large number of beast-controlling resources engraved with the military patterns were suspended in the air under his control. Boom! Chen Wei only felt a roar in his brain, and then bursts of piercing pain came out from the meridians on the back of his hand and arm. What's going on? This pain-relieving pill is not expired. Chen Wei's temples were covered with sweat, and his eyes showed an incredible look. As if noticing Chen Wei's surprise, General Yun explained while using source power to cooperate with beast-controlling resources to slowly outline a mysterious military pattern. The painkiller can only reduce some of the pain of engraving the original military pattern, but it cannot completely block the pain. Just bear with it. Hearing this, the members of Chen Wei's team looked at the pain on the captain's face and couldn't help swallowing. Ding Xiling, who is the most afraid of pain in the team, subconsciously closed her eyes, with an expression that she couldn't bear to watch. It seemed like a minute had passed, or a year had passed. When Chen Wei came back to his senses from the severe pain, there were already a lot of thin and mysterious black lines on the back of his right hand. As these black lines spread and flowed, a mysterious and deep military pattern began to loom. "It's okay," Lieutenant General Yun breathed a sigh of relief as he looked at Chen Wei, who opened his eyes in front of him. Perhaps it was because he hadn't engraved the original military pattern for too long, and this time the military pattern engraving actually brought him a long-lost sense of fatigue. "Thank you, Lieutenant General Yun." Recalling the previous severe pain, Chen Wei took a breath with lingering fear. "Try the degree of fit of the giant military pattern first," Lieutenant General Yun reminded. Unlike the standard military pattern, the degree of strengthening of the original military pattern of each beastmaster is different. Under the expectant eyes of everyone, Chen Wei stretched out his left hand and lightly touched the military pattern on the back of his right hand, and then his mind moved, and the majestic source power in his body was unreservedly released into the giant military pattern. Buzz, as Chen Wei's source power continued to be delivered, a mysterious giant military pattern that looked like a flying black dragon and exuded a mysterious brilliance suddenly appeared in front of everyone. Seeing the appearance of the black dragon phantom, General Yun's eyes lit up. "It seems that you are lucky. The degree of fit between this giant military pattern and you has reached the epic level." Epic level? Chen Wei was slightly stunned, and a trace of doubt flashed in his eyes. As the name suggests, through the cooperation of beastmasters, this epic giant military pattern can allow you and your pet to exert the combat power of an epic beastmaster at the highest level. As General Yun said this, the members of Chen Wei's team couldn't help but take a breath of cold air, and the eyes looking at their captain also changed. "No way, the captain is already epic." Yu Zilman stared at Chen Wei in a daze. "Chen Wei, what the hell is this?" Judging from the cultivation of Yu Unxing, his current strength is at most an elite beastmaster. Isn't epic too exaggerated? Don't think too much. With Chen Wei's current strength, at least a beastmaster army needs to cooperate with 100,000 elite soldiers to burst out epic combat power. Lieutenant General Yun smiled. Not to mention how much mental power and tacit understanding Chen Wei needs to cooperate with 100,000 elite soldiers. Chen Wei's physique and pet strength alone cannot withstand the blessing of the giant spirit power of 100,000 elite soldiers. Both the original military pattern and the standard military pattern have the ability to evolve independently. As long as you cooperate with the beasts enough times and the giant spirit power you carry is large enough, even the standard military pattern has the opportunity to be promoted to epic or even legendary military pattern. Seeing the envy and loneliness in everyone's eyes, Lieutenant General Yun encouraged. Looking at the freshmen who regained their confidence after these words, Instructor Zhu Hao glanced at Lieutenant General Yun with a strange expression. Although both the original military pattern and the standard military pattern can evolve autonomously, the evolution of the original military pattern can basically completely crush the standard military pattern. Some beastmasters in the beast-taming corps who pursue the ultimate strength will even abandon the standard military pattern that has been nurtured for a long time after advancing to the king, and re-engrave the original military pattern. Next, General Yun cast his eyes on Yu Zilman, who was closest to Chen Wei. Time passed quickly, and the first phase of military training soon passed for 7 days. During this period, other freshman teams also gradually transformed into spirit bodies, obtained the engraving of the giant military pattern, and finally began to condense and practice the giant power. During these 7 days of military training, the morning is the physical training time for all teams, and the afternoon is the training time for the team's tacit understanding and giant power. Under the training guidance of Instructor Zhu Hao, Chen Wei's team successfully condensed the giant power on the second day after obtaining the military pattern, and became the first team to defeat the Fire Rock Flamestone. Unfortunately, because the coordination between the teams was still a little unfamiliar, the giant spirit power that Chen Wei's team had gathered during this period of time only defeated 20 Fire Rock Flamestones, and there were still 29 short of the goal of the 6th level soul transforming pill. There are still 4 days left in the first stage of training. Why don't we get the soul transforming pill first? Yu Xianglu suggested. The team only defeated 20 fire rock flame stones in these 7 days, an average of nearly 3 per day. According to this efficiency, there is no need to think about the 6th level soul transforming pill. It is better to obtain the 3rd level soul transforming pill in advance to quickly improve the cultivation of the soul transforming body. Chen Wei, do you think there is hope? Yu Zilman tilted her head and glanced at the captain who had finished the soul transforming body training beside him. Give me another day. I have already mastered the trick of using the giant spirit power. Chen Wei shook his head. Chapter 303, The Star Relics. The next afternoon, under the watchful eyes of Instructor Zhu Hao, Chen Wei's team began to gather the power of the giant spirit in the wasteland full of hot lava rivers. Don't panic, as long as you follow the previously planned plan, you won't make any mistakes. After reminding his teammates again, Chen Wei, the leader of the Beast Control Cooperation, slowly closed his eyes and began to use his mind to perceive the giant spirit military patterns around him. Buzz buzz buzz, with a clear sound, the mysterious giant spirit military patterns on the backs of Chen Wei's team members began to bloom with unprecedented brilliance. Here it comes. Sensing the resonance of the giant spirit military pattern, Chen Wei suddenly opened his eyes, and a strange energy wave was gathering on the back of his right hand, which was the condensation of the giant spirit power. At the same time, the members of Chen Wei's team turned pale, and the source power in their bodies flowed into the giant spirit military pattern like a surging waterfall. The next second, Chen Wei's face showed a touch of red, and an extremely powerful momentum suddenly burst out from his body. In just a few breaths, the aura emanating from Chen Wei's body had already surpassed the peak of his source star strength, and then it surged wildly as if there was no limit. Condense, sensing the infinite power that continued to flow out of the giant spirit military pattern, Chen Wei's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. Under his forced control, an invincible black dragon of source power that seemed to be able to dominate everything roared out from the mysterious and deep military pattern. Seeing this shocking scene, the team members followed the plan and put the 4th level middle grade elixir Jiuandan in their hands that could increase source power into their mouths under the suppression of the Shuxing soft armor. At the moment when the power of the medicine was dissolved, they concentrated on driving the military pattern on the back of their hands to absorb the source power in their bodies according to the predetermined ratio. Roar, as if taking a tonic, the black dragon, which was still small in size just now, suddenly expanded at a speed visible to the naked eye, and finally formed a small real dragon with a body length of about 10 meters. Condensed with the power of the giant spirit, Instructor Zhu Hao was slightly stunned. Although such an operation is not difficult, for a freshman, being able to use the power of the giant spirit like this is already quite remarkable. Yi Keiling on the side looked at the unruly black dragon eagerly, as if she was eager to try. Sure enough, although I don't know why, the majestic power of the giant spirit can really shield some of the suppression of the soft armor of the star-binding armor. Chen Wei was delighted, and then turned his head to look at the large number of volcanic rocks and flames standing on the wasteland in the distance. Charge! The next second, the roaring energy black dragon instantly rushed towards the volcanic rocks and flames in the distance at the speed of lightning. Boom! The deafening sound spread throughout the magma wasteland, and even triggered a violent air storm. Be careful! Seeing that Yu Zilman and Yu Xianglu's feet softened after losing a lot of source power, as if they were about to fall to the ground, Chen Wei's pupils shrank, and he quickly reached out to support them. Seeing this, the pets lying on the side watching the show also stood in front of their own beast masters at this moment, using their bodies or skills to resist the sudden aftermath. Thank you. Feeling the warm arms around him, Yu Xianglu's body stiffened and took a step back in panic. Yu Zilman put her arm around Chen Wei's shoulders without hesitation, thanking him with lingering fear. Thank you, I almost fell on my face. At this time, Feng Shuang Bingfen glanced at his beastmaster with disdain. If you hadn't stopped me in advance, I would have caught you long ago. Congratulations on using a giant spirit power to directly defeat 35 fire rock flame stones. Together with the previous 20 fire rock flame stones, you can already receive the 6th level soul transforming pill. A white jade bottle suddenly appeared in the hands of Instructor Zhu Hao. There is only one 6th level soul transforming pill in this white jade bottle. Your team had better discuss how to distribute it. Zhu Hao smiled with interest. Looking at the instructor in front of them who was full of bad taste, the team members looked at each other, and then looked at their captain at the same time. In terms of value, let alone 2 Jian pills, even 10 or even 100 Jian pills are not as good as a 6th level soul transforming pill. But if Chen Wei was not there, they could not get the 6th level soul transforming pill alone, so according to the agreement they had agreed on before, they had only one choice. So, under the expectant eyes of the team members, Chen Wei took a few steps forward and took the pill from the instructor's hand. Seeing this, Instructor Zhu Hao raised his eyebrows and took out a jade bottle from the star ring and handed it to Chen Wei. Don't forget, in addition to the 6th level soul transforming pill, your team still has 6 3rd level soul transforming pills that have not been collected. Looking at Chen Wei, who was slightly stunned in front of him, he couldn't help but smile and said, "Did they say that each team can only receive the reward once?" Wu Sixi said in surprise. "That's right, but this reward limit is actually only valid for the 3rd level soul transforming pill." Instructor Zhu Hao shook his head. "Is that so?" Ding Xiaoling's face was bitter. With Captain Chen Wei as the leader of the Beast Control Cooperation and bearing the pressure of the giant spirit power, she didn't want to practice the painful transformation body. Beast Control Bond coordination is not much worse than Beast Control Cooperation, and she really didn't want to continue to embarrass herself. "Very good, since you have completed the basic training of Beast Control Cooperation first, then we can start the advanced training of Beast Control Cooperation next," Instructor Zhu Hao said enthusiastically. "Hasn't the first stage of running and training been completed? Why is there still advanced training?" Ding Xiaoling couldn't help but ask. Hearing this, everyone looked at Ding Xiaoling with strange eyes. Such powerful fighting skills are usually not available to beast masters. Why do you look so disgusted? "Yes, you have indeed completed the first stage of running and training." Instructor Zhu Hao nodded, then changed the subject and said, "Do you want to enter the Qin Shi Huang ruins?" Chen Wei frowned slightly. Could it be that the advanced training of Beast Control Cooperation is related to the qualification to enter the Qin Shi Huang ruins? I've said before that only the team that successfully completes the assessment task can obtain the qualification to enter the Qin Shi Huang ruins. If you want to complete this assessment task, you must learn how to use the power of the giant spirit to strengthen your pet. At this point, Instructor Zhu Hao glanced at everyone. "Of course, if you don't want to enter the Qin Shi Huang ruins, just ignore what I said." At this time, Yu Zilman seemed to have discovered a blind spot, raised her hand and asked, "I have a question. Will the Qin Shi Huang ruins also suppress the source power of the Beast Master like the Shuxing soft armor?" As Yu Zilman said this, Chen Wei and the team members looked at her and the instructor in surprise. Instructor Zhu Hao's expression froze slightly. He thought about it, and finally said truthfully, "Yes, the Qin Shi Huang ruins have another common name in the Yongli Island Beast Master Core, that is, the Shuxing ruins. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 304, First Level of Spiritual Transformation. The so-called Shuxing ruins, as the name suggests, is a ruin that will suppress the source power of beast masters and pets. Of course, because the mechanical source power inside the Shihuang ruins is too strong, it can be called a paradise for mechanical pets, so the strength of most mechanical pets will not be suppressed by the ruins. "How did you notice it?" Instructor Zhu Hao asked back with interest. "Because you said that we must learn how to use the power of the giant spirit to strengthen the pets before we can enter the ruins." Yu Zilman smiled slightly. Just because of this reason, Instructor Zhu Hao looked at Yu Zilman deeply, and felt a little puzzled, but did not continue to ask. Knowing that there are many beast masters in the Shihuang ruins, this news is not considered top secret in Yongli Island, so even if Yu Zilman concealed something, it would not be a big problem. However, in order to rouse the interest of Chen Wei's team, Instructor Zhu Hao thought about it and continued to explain. There are many relics related to Emperor Qin in the Xianzhuan secret realm on Yongli Island. Only the freshman teams that can complete the Beast Control Cooperation mission can enter the real Qin Shi Huang ruins, while the failed teams can only enter the small ruins that have been fully explored by the Legion for training. At this point, Instructor Zhu Hao directly threw out a huge bait. "Do you want to contract a pet with a king level or overlord level race? There are many talented beast masters in the Legion who have contracted a king level mecha in the Qin Shi Huang ruins." As Instructor Zhu Hao said this, everyone's eyes suddenly lit up. The number of potential king level pets is extremely rare. Even if the beast control family behind them is powerful, it is still difficult to contract a pet that suits them. Since the king-level mecha in the Qin Shi Huang ruins can be favored by the talented beast masters in the Beast Control Legion, it means that the pets in the ruins are of extraordinary strength and potential. When the team members were full of fighting spirit, Chen Wei, who had already had a bottom line in his heart, looked at the instructor with a smile on his face. Compared to the mechanical pets that combine iron lumps and weapons, he, who focuses on the dragon system, is more concerned about the advanced training mentioned by the instructor. Hearing this, Ding Xiling, who had been resistant before, now can't wait to speak. Instructor, when can we start advanced training? Your face changes too quickly. Yu Yang looked at Ding Xiling with a strange expression. It's getting late, you should rest early today. The instructor looked down at his watch. Tomorrow morning, I will teach all teams the advanced skills of beast control cooperation on the training ground. Before that, you'd better absorb and refine the soul-changing pill, otherwise you may not be able to keep up with the progress. As soon as the voice fell, Instructor Zhu Hao turned around and left. Captain, are we going to make medicine together tonight? Yu Yang asked a little disappointed. Unlike the teaching of the alchemy teacher who treats everyone equally, under the meticulous guidance of Captain Chen Wei, he learned a lot of knowledge, and even his alchemy level improved day by day. Although his current level of medicine refining is still at the peak of the second Yao alchemist, Yu Yang is now confident enough to become an intermediate alchemist like his cousin Xianglu in the spring of next year. And this is all thanks to the selfless help of his team leader. How about we continue to refine medicine tonight, but disband early, Yu Xianglu quickly suggested. In her opinion, who is obsessed with refining medicine, the captain's medicine refining teaching is more important than the so-called military training. Looking at the nervous team members in front of him, Chen Wei nodded helplessly. Okay, then we will disband early at 9 o'clock tonight. Let's make it clear first, this time we can't drag it until 3 or 4 in the morning like last time. Originally, Chen Wei wanted to spare some time tonight to strengthen the dragon crystal and study the obscure Taiheo Qinglong constellation map. But since the team members want him to harvest another wave of Denki, he had to choose to listen to the opinions of his teammates. Thinking of this, Chen Wei gently rubbed his Qingming acupoint with his fingers, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. He could feel that with a nourishment of sufficient Denki, the power of his delusion-breaking spirit eyes had increased by a full 10% compared to before. If he could use Denki to increase the power of delusion-breaking spirit eyes by another 90%, he might be able to usher in the third transformation of the spirit eyes. As night fell, Chen Wei harvested a wave of Denki in the alchemy room and returned to the dormitory. Sitting on the bed, he took out the recently obtained 6th-level soul transformation pill from the star ring. In order to obtain the ownership of this 6th-level soul transformation pill, Chen Wei also paid an additional price of 2 source accumulation pills for each team member. According to the inheritance records, as long as the first level of the soul transformation body is practiced, 365 levels of spiritual orifices can be opened up in the body of the Beastmaster. These spiritual orifices can not only double the total amount of the Beastmaster's source power, improve the compatibility of the Beastmaster's body with heterogeneous source power, but can even feed back to each other, greatly improving the recovery speed of the Beastmaster's source power. Recalling the meridian map of opening up the spiritual orifices, Chen Wei confidently swallowed a soul transformation pill in his palm into his stomach. The next second, he began to feel a powerful energy that could tear apart his muscles and even cells suddenly bursting out of his body. It's harder than I thought, Chen Wei frowned, and then, under the interference of severe pain, he used this powerful medicinal power to open up the spiritual orifices in his body according to the method of practicing the transformation body. Unlike the simple spiritual orifices on his arm, the first spiritual orifice that Chen Wei wanted to open up now was the Shenting acupoint, which was the beginning of the martial artist's journey to transcendence in the Middle Ages. It must be said that with the support of the medicinal power of the 6th-level transformation pill, the difficulties Chen Wei had previously experienced in opening up the spiritual orifices seemed to disappear without a trace. This time, in a very short time, he lit up the spiritual orifice of the Shenting acupoint and easily moved towards the next spiritual orifice, the Beihu acupoint. Just as Chen Wei was immersed in the practice of the transformation body, he was surprised to find that the tyrant dragon power in his body began to operate autonomously under the practice of the transformation body. Seeing this, Chen Wei was not nervous, but instead showed a happy expression on his face. He could clearly feel that the tyrant dragon power cultivated by the tyrant dragon secret records did not resist the emergence of the transformation spiritual power, and even pushed the opening of the spiritual orifice from behind. 10, 20. Sensing the crazy surge of power in his body, Chen Wei couldn't help but immerse himself in the practice of the transformation spiritual body. When he woke up from the practice state, the morning sun had already risen. It's done. Feeling the total amount of source power in his body that was 5 times the peak of the usual level, Chen Wei couldn't help but open his eyes and slowly exhaled a breath of turbid air. Chen Wei looked at the 3 pets sleeping on the sofa, and a hint of eagerness flashed in his eyes. He now really wanted to know how much his efficiency in strengthening the high-level dragon crystal and dragon power had improved after this breakthrough. Chapter 305, Moving the Giant Elephant. Captain, it's time to go. Strange, Captain Chen Wei hasn't gotten up yet. The captain has military training during the day and has to teach us alchemy at night. Is he too tired? Yu Xianglu looked at the closed door in front of her, a little guilty. Chen Wei is so strong, you must be overthinking it. Yu Zilman shook her head with a strange look on her face. What a joke. After being in contact with Chen Wei for so long, she even thought that Chen Wei could kill a dragon with one punch. At this time, Chen Wei opened the door and looked at the team members in front of him with an apologetic look on his face. Sorry, can you wait for me for 3 minutes? Just now, in order to test the degree of improvement in the power of the dragon, he has not even changed his clothes yet. Hurry up, you will be late if you are late, Ding Xiling said anxiously. Understood. Chen Wei closed the door and glanced at the 3 pets who were lying on the sofa, feeling so comfortable, with a surprised look on his face. Is the power of the dragon so much improved this time? Even a 7th level overlord beast like Bai Luo was so comfortable that he fell asleep. In the early morning, the golden sunlight spread over the entire number 33 training ground. Instructor Zhu Hao glanced at everyone and said loudly, the first phase of training has come to an end. The next step is the advanced training of beast control cooperation. If there are teams that are unable to mobilize the power of the giant spirit, they may be able to gain some insights from this teaching. At this point, Instructor Zhu Hao looked at the 5 teams including Zheng Ting and Liu Hanmo. The difficulty of beast control cooperation is very high. Even among the freshman teams composed of the beast control department and the battle department, there are many teams that cannot complete the control of the giant spirit power, not to mention the class of the alchemy department he is in charge of. Among these teams, although Zhuang Zheng's team is much worse than Chen Wei's team, even the basic training of beast control cooperation is just barely passed. But in general, the fact that there are 2 teams in an alchemy class that are expected to complete beast control cooperation has already met Zhu Hao's expected goal. At this time, Chen Wei looked at the 6 figures wearing the same legion uniforms as Instructor Zhu Hao behind him, and his eyes showed curiosity. In the past, they only had 1 instructor, Zhu Hao, to guide them during their training, but now there are 6 more. Could it be that today is the highlight of the beast control cooperation training? Just as Chen Wei was thinking about it, Instructor Zhu Hao said loudly, practice is the only truth. Next, I will let you see the real beast control cooperation. As soon as the voice fell, a beast control array with a golden light suddenly appeared in front of Zhu Hao. Then, a tall and strong elephant, about 10 meters tall, weighing about 30 tons, covered with long red-brown hair, with 2 curved sharp horns growing under its slender nose, and a very thick fat layer on the surface of its body, suddenly appeared. Looking at this ferocious beast roaring to the sky, Chen Wei's eyes flashed with a strange color. Pet name, Banai Giant Elephant. Pet attributes, Earth, Gold. Racial level, Brilliant King. Strength level, 6th order middle. Racial skills, Banai power, Anger Mountain Extinction, Diamond Body. Mounted trampling. The next second, under the fiery gazes of the freshman, a dazzling golden light burst out from the back of Instructor Zhu Hao's right hand, and then a mysterious and profound giant spirit military pattern suddenly intertwined and bloomed on the 6 instructors and Banai Giant Elephant behind him. As the brilliant light on the Banai Giant Elephant became stronger and stronger, a terrifying force began to slowly emerge, and even the bright sky was dimmed at this moment. Then the light dissipated, and what appeared before everyone were 400s of meters high, almost endless pillars. The 4-toed giant hoof under the pillars just moved slightly, and a fierce storm blew the freshmen back again and again. At this time, apart from a few instructors, only Chen Wei stood there like a mountain, without even a tremor in his body. Is this the giant spirit posture? Chen Wei looked at the ferocious giant elephant in front of him, which seemed to have walked out of the wild century, and couldn't help showing a little desire in his eyes. Everyone, pay attention. This is the destructive power of the pet after entering the giant spirit posture. Trampling mountains, with the order of instructor Zhu Hao, the Banai giant elephant cried angrily, raised its mountain-like giant hoof high, and the majestic earth source power on the training ground gathered crazily under the blessing of the giant spirit power, and finally stepped hard on the hill where Chen Wei and his team had run training before. Boom, a deafening explosion sounded, and many freshmen subconsciously covered their ears with their hands. Under the terrifying blow of the Banai giant elephant, the sky and the earth suddenly lost their color, and the shock wave even made the entire training ground shake wildly, as if the world was about to end. So strong, looking at the hill in the distance being easily collapsed and forming a bottomless gully, Yu Zilman couldn't help swallowing. This is the terrifying power of beast control cooperation. In front of this power, the freshmen on the training ground felt that their previous pet battles were no different from children playing house. Under the blessing of beast control cooperation, the 6th level king pet can actually burst out with a combat power close to the 7th level overlord level. Chen Wei couldn't help licking his lips. He had only seen such terrifying destructive power on Bailuo, and the 6th level middle level Banai giant elephant could achieve this level of destructive power, which indirectly illustrates the strength of beast control cooperation. Feeling that more than half of the giant spirit power disappeared from the back of his hand, Instructor Zhu Hao's mind moved, and he directly cancelled the communication between the giant spirit military pattern and his comrades behind him. So his pet beast Banai giant elephant returned to its original size in the blink of an eye. Do you understand? This is the collective power of beast control masters. Zhu Hao looked at the freshmen in front of him who were shocked and still a little dazed until now. Damn, Zhu Hao is showing off again. Behind Zhu Hao, the other instructors looked at each other with envy in their eyes. At the same time, Chen Wei, who had been using his delusion-breaking spiritual eyes to observe the instructors performing the beast control cooperation, showed a thoughtful expression on his face. So that's how it is. After the giant spirit power is condensed, the beast master needs to reverse the source power and the beast control contract to form fluctuations, and then use the power of the giant spirit military pattern to find the matching point on the pet, and finally brand it for blessing, so that the giant spirit power can be maximized. Next, let me explain the key points of the beast control cooperation in detail. Glancing at the freshmen in front of him who were full of longing, Zhu Hao suddenly felt that his careful preparation was not in vain. It was worth his effort to find a few comrades to help him with the beast control cooperation. However, when he saw Chen Wei's eyes closed and his expression calm, which was completely different from the longing and desire on the faces of others, he couldn't help but frown. What's going on? Even if you are a beast control genius, you can't be distracted during military training. Chapter 306, The Power of the Delusion-Breaking Spirit Eyes. Chen Wei, after this demonstration of beast control cooperation, do you have any insights you can share? As Instructor Zhu Hao said this, Chen Wei, who was named, became the focus of all the freshmen's eyes at that moment. Yesterday afternoon in the lava wasteland, there were more than 1 or 2 freshmen who witnessed Chen Wei manipulating the power of the giant spirit to defeat a large number of volcanic rocks and flames. Today, the news that Chen Wei obtained the 6th level soul-changing pill has also been known to all teams. For a while, the atmosphere on the training ground became extremely quiet, and almost all the freshmen were looking forward to Chen Wei's answer. As the most outstanding and talented beastmaster in the alchemy class 1, and even in this year's freshman, could it be that Chen Wei has already learned how to use beast control cooperation? Instructor Zhu Hao glanced at the freshmen who were looking at Chen Wei excitedly on the training ground, and a trace of doubt flashed in his eyes. He just wanted to knock on Chen Wei, who was distracted, and let him listen carefully to the important knowledge of beast control cooperation next. Why did these freshmen show a weird expression of excitement and disbelief on their faces? At this time, Yu Xianglu, who had been paying attention to the captain from beginning to end, pursed her red lips silently, feeling a little guilty. It seemed that Captain Chen Wei was really tired. He even closed his eyes and rested after just a few glances at the instructor's demonstration of beast control cooperation. Thinking of this, Yu Xianglu, who had a strange way of thinking, clenched her glowing white hands, and was very entangled in her heart. In order not to trouble the captain, should I ask the captain 20 fewer questions in the future alchemy gatherings? Wait, 20 is a bit too much, or ask 10 fewer alchemy questions? Just when Yu Xianglu was hesitant, Chen Wei said loudly, report to the instructor, I have some insights. but I think it is difficult to explain it clearly in words." Hearing this, Instructor Zhu Hao frowned. In his opinion, Chen Wei, who can condense with the power of the giant spirit, can say a few points about the insights of the Beastmaster mobilizing the power of the giant spirit. But he didn't expect Chen Wei to refuse to share even these insights. Could it be that he misjudged him? Just when he was feeling disappointed, Chen Wei suddenly spoke in the training ground, which excited the whole audience. "I can perform a beast control collaboration with my team members. This way of sharing may be more effective than verbal explanation." When Chen Wei said this, the first to be surprised were not the freshmen on the field, but his teammates. "When did our team master the beast control collaboration?" Everyone looked at Chen Wei in confusion. Instructor Zhu Hao was slightly stunned when he heard this, and looked at Chen Wei with interest. "Very good, then your team will come out and demonstrate now." The next second, as Chen Wei and his team members strode forward, the 6 instructors behind Zhu Hao couldn't help but observe his breath curiously. The first level of the soul transformation? This guy Zhu Hao exchanged for a 6th level soul transformation pill this year. No, it's not just the soul transformation. Just looking at the breath, the physical strength of this freshman is even stronger than mine. A burly man with a face full of flesh couldn't help but twitch his mouth. This world is too crazy. My strong body that I have cultivated for more than 10 years and experienced countless hardships is not as strong as a freshman who just entered college. Such a monstrous genius should not lie. It seems that Zhu Hao has taught a lot of things in private. Maybe Donghu will have another general who is expected to control the battle of the beast-taming army in the future. A instructor with several broken fingers on his left hand flashed a hint of joy in his eyes. As for the remaining instructors, they looked at each other with solemn faces. Chief Yun is careless. A genius like Chen Wei, who is extremely suitable for beast-taming cooperation, should be recruited into our Yongli Island Corps General-level training camp for training. Glancing at the dark-faced instructor Zhu Hao, Yu Zilman said to Chen Wei in an almost inaudible voice. "Are you sure? The soul-transforming bodies of me, Xianglu, and Ziling are just getting started." Yu Zilman believes that Chen Wei has already mastered the beast-taming cooperation, but she is afraid that she and her teammates will be dragged down in this beast-taming cooperation. The faint fragrance and warm breath that came to his face made Chen Wei couldn't help but cough lightly. "Don't worry, I practiced a transformation of the spirit body to the 1st level last night, so there should be no problem." Hearing this, Yu Zilman's slightly frowned eyebrows suddenly relaxed. "Just maintain the output frequency and synchronization state of yesterday afternoon, and I will guide the rest." Seeing that Ding Xiling and Xianglu were still a little nervous, Chen Wei smiled. "Why, you don't believe me?" As soon as Chen Wei finished speaking, Yu Yang, who is usually taciturn in the team, suddenly looked up, stared at Chen Wei with his eyes, and said firmly, "If the captain says it's okay, then it must be okay. Thank you for your trust." Patting Yu Yang on the shoulder, Chen Wei turned around and looked at the instructors and freshmen who had been watching their team not far away, and said loudly, "This is the beast control cooperation of our team." After speaking, the star ring between Chen Wei's fingers burst into a strong brilliance, and a dazzling white rune array suddenly appeared in front of him. Then, Kai Ling, who was 30 meters long and whose slender body alone blocked out the sunlight of the entire training ground, suddenly fell from the sky. Chen Wei, who had become the focus of the whole audience, raised his right hand. The giant spirit military pattern that gradually appeared on the back of his hand suddenly burst into a black light that was so dark that it seemed to be able to absorb the soul of the Beastmaster. "Now is the time to reverse the power of the giant spirit and connect the mind and spirit." Chen Wei's firm intention sounded in the minds of the 6 team members behind him. Feeling the crazy loss of the source power in his body, Yu Zilman's face turned pale, gritted his silver teeth, and forcibly raised his trembling palm upwards. Yu Xianglu and Ding Xiling, who were also pale and weak at this time, had no time to care about the performance of their teammates around them. They only had one thought in their hearts now, that is, they must not drag their feet in this Beastmaster cooperation. In an instant, a mysterious giant spirit military pattern enveloped all members of Chen Wei's team, and Kai Ling's forehead gradually revealed a black military pattern that was hidden or revealed. "No way, it's really possible. But I haven't taught you the advanced knowledge of beast control cooperation yet." Zhu Hao's pupils shrank. If he hadn't been through many battles and had a strong control ability, he might have been stunned by now. Unlike what other instructors thought, he was the only one who knew that he had never given Chen Wei extra lessons. Is there really a beast control genius in this world who can learn it just by watching it once? Instructor Zhu Hao couldn't help but glance at Chen Wei's closed eyes. As far as he knew, the perspective spirit eyes could see through the muscles and bones of the beast master, exotic beast, to fight against the enemy or practice, and could also observe the medicinal properties of spiritual plants to make medicine, but they didn't have the ability to learn and copy. You can learn by watching the beast control a cooperation once. Even the highest level of the perspective spirit eyes, no living being's realm, can't do this kind of exaggerated learning ability. Chapter 307, Failed Giant Transformation. Why think about these things? The new generation of Donghu country is of course the more talented the better. Zhu Hao shook his head and focused all his attention on the giant spirit power on the back of Chen Wei's hand, which was like a black dragon. It's just the last step. Chen Wei looked at his palm, which was as heavy as a mountain at the moment, and showed an excited smile on his face. At this time, as he and Kai Ling's mind were connected, a surge of giant spirit power began to slowly surround Kai Ling, and the wanton riot of giant spirit power made Kai Ling's huge body sacred. Roar! Feeling the rapid surge of power in her body, Kai Ling couldn't help but raise her head and let out a long roar, and a black light suddenly shot out from her pale golden majestic pupils. Under the terrifying blessing of the beast-taming cooperation, Kai Ling's third-level limit strength actually climbed to the lower fourth level in an instant, and was even soaring at a crazy speed. Success! The next step is the giant spirit posture. Chen Wei looked up at Kai Ling, who was like a dragon in the sky, and a trace of desire flashed in his eyes. He directly added all the giant spirit power contained in the military pattern to Kai Ling at once, and as a price, Chen Wei's momentum suddenly dropped, and even the majestic source power in his body disappeared by more than 50% at this moment. Sorry, I can't hold on. At this moment, Ding Xiling shook her body and showed a bitter smile on her face. It seemed that a domino effect occurred, and the rest of the team members also lost their strength. Seeing this, Chen Wei was shocked and cancelled Kai Ling's beast-controlling cooperative posture without hesitation, and quickly took out the source power pill in water from the star ring. At the same time, under his mental command, a blue light flashed, and Kai Ling caught the 6 teammates who almost fell to the ground. Sorry, I was too anxious. Looking at the pale and weak teammates in front of him, Chen Wei hurriedly handed over the pill and the kettle. The terrifying power contained in the giant spirit military pattern made him subconsciously think that he could make Kai Ling complete the giant spirit. Now it seems that it should be just his illusion. It's just that the source of energy is exhausted. It's not a big problem. After taking the recovery pill, Ding Xiling shook her head. That's it? I can't even enter the giant transformation. Seeing this scene of failure, Zhuang Jingjing felt relieved. However, he did not notice the surprise hidden in the eyes of the instructors. Was that a precursor to the giant transformation just now? Yes, if the members of Chen Wei's team were not strong enough, he might have really performed it. Old Wang, how long did it take you to learn the giant transformation of the beast control cooperation? Hearing this, Instructor Wang glared at Instructor Wu, who was transmitting the thought. What's wrong? It took him 5 years to learn the giant transformation, which is a good result among the many king-level beast masters in the Yongli Island Beast Control Corps. After thinking for a while, Instructor Wang teased in his mind, Old Wu, I remember that it took you 4 years to learn the giant transformation. The freshmen nowadays are really strong. They have mastered the trick of giant transformation in just 10 days. Wow, Instructor Wu didn't even look at him, and looked straight at Chen Wei. No matter what. You are 1 year behind me. Ignoring the comrades behind him, Instructor Zhu Hao stretched out his hands and began to applaud. Very good, you have mastered all the skills of beast control cooperation. It is no exaggeration to say that I have nothing to teach you now. Hearing this, the freshman who thought that Chen Wei's beast control cooperation had failed immediately looked at the instructor in surprise. Do you think Chen Wei failed? Seeing the doubts in the eyes of these young people, Zhu Hao said calmly. Isn't it? This beast control cooperation didn't even last 5 seconds, Zheng Ting asked curiously. Instructor Zhu Hao smiled. So you didn't learn it well. Chen Wei didn't fail in the beast control cooperation, but failed in the giant transformation. Unlike the beast control cooperation, the giant transformation requires a high source of power from the beastmaster. Only when 6 king-level masters or hundreds of master beast masters work together to use the giant military pattern can the pet enter the giant state. Hearing this, Yu Zilman subconsciously looked at Chen Wei beside her. In other words, it's not that Chen Wei can't do it, But that all of us are not strong enough. Zhu Hao glanced at all the teams on the training ground, and finally stopped his eyes on Chen Wei's team. Although there are only 2 days left in the military training, congratulations, your military training has been successfully completed, and you have plenty of time to prepare for the assessment task the day after tomorrow. Hearing this, Yu Yang looked at his teammates beside him, especially Chen Wei. He hesitated for a second, and finally raised his hand. Report to the instructor, Captain Chen Wei has learned the beast control cooperation, but the rest of our team members have not learned it yet. If we volunteer, can we continue to participate in the training next? No. Ding Ziling's face was bitter. Zhu Hao saw the longing on Yu Yang's face and couldn't help but smile. Close your eyes now and carefully feel the process of the previous beast control cooperation. Yu Yang was slightly stunned, and then followed the instructor's instructions. Got it. Seeing Yu Yang's eyes full of surprise, Instructor Zhu Hao smiled and said, it's just a waste of time for you to train with me now. If you have that time, you might as well practice beast control cooperation with Chen Wei a few more times, so that you can master beast control cooperation faster. Is this what it feels like to be led by the boss? Hearing this, the other teams looked at the members of Chen Wei's team with envy. It's outrageous to have a good captain who can even learn beast control cooperation while lying down. Why isn't that person me? Report to the instructor, since using the beast control cooperation can make people learn quickly, why don't you take us to practice the beast control cooperation? Or let Chen Wei take us to practice the beast control cooperation? Zhuang Jingjing raised his hand and asked. Good fellow, this statement highlights a sit back and enjoy the fruits of others' labor. But from the perspective of the beast control corps, such a decision can actually cultivate more beast control cooperation masters. Chen Wei's expression changed slightly. He didn't have so much time to help others practice the beast control cooperation. Your idea is very good, but unfortunately, this method has an obvious disadvantage that it can only be carried out in one team. Instructor Zhu Hao shook his head. The military pattern researchers in the beast control corps are not fools. They can ignore such a simple method. Perhaps it is because of the limitation of the rules of heaven and earth, or perhaps it is because of the constraints of the giant spirit military pattern itself. Every strong man who successfully comprehends the beast control cooperation by his own ability can only lead 6 beast control masters to comprehend it. More than that is invalid. This is why the military training team has 7 people in a team. It's a pity that his chance to understand was already given to his comrades who died on the battlefield, otherwise he wouldn't have to waste his breath teaching a group of freshmen. P.S. Thank you to Yuxun for the reward of 100 starting coins. Chapter 308 Training Assessment. Time flies by, 2 days have passed quickly, and today is the day of training and assessment. Under the temptation of the ruins of the first emperor, all members of Chen Wei's team have devoted their energy to learning the cooperation of beast control. Yu Yang became the second beast control master in the team to master the cooperation of beast control, and then Wu Sixi and Wu Yaojin in the team also mastered the skills of cooperation of beast control. As for Chen Wei, after practicing the cooperation of beast control, he used the remaining energy to strengthen the high-level dragon crystal. It feels a bit wasteful. The power of dragon control contained in this high-level dragon crystal can already strengthen 5 high-level dragon crystals. Chen Wei looked down at the high-level dragon crystal on his palm, which was pink and almost purple, and shook his head secretly in his heart. Yi, I want it. At this time, Kei Ling, who was resting on Chen Wei's thigh, raised her head and looked at her beast control master eagerly. No, I want to test the limit of high-level dragon crystals. Chen Wei touched Kei Ling's warm dragon body, put away the dragon crystal, and then took out a ball of light with red light from the star ring, right claw of the red star brilliant dragon, a 9th level immortal resource. The red star brilliant dragon is one of the dominant races of true dragons, and has the domineering power to burn and shatter planets. This dragon claw that has survived a long time without decaying can allow the blood hidden in the body of a true dragon to return to its ancestral roots, and even has a chance to awaken the red star brilliant dragon's burning star power, weakened version. Perhaps because of the great enhancement of the Dan Qi to the Pahun Ling Mao, Chen Wei can now identify this right claw of the brilliant dragon of unknown origin. Question mark? Immortal level resource. Chen Wei pressed the extremely hard dragon claw with his fingers in disbelief, and couldn't help but be a little shocked in his heart. Just this immortal dragon claw in front of me can probably be exchanged for the position of president of the Beast Taming Association of a city or even a province. Thinking of the value represented by the immortal level resources, Chen Wei shook his head in amazement, but he had no intention of selling it, but planned to keep it for his pet. You know, the beast taming resources that can be called immortal level have the power to destroy the world. If some immortal level resources with spiritual intelligence are born, they can even kill some legendary strongmen or emperor beasts. At this time, Chen Wei didn't know that if he hadn't been protected by the power of the dragon claw of this red star Huanglong would have crushed and evaporated Chen Wei's finger that dared to touch it. Buzz buzz buzz, just when Chen Wei was thinking about how to use the Huanglong dragon claw to maximize the benefits, his mobile phone on the table began to vibrate. Looking at the message displayed on the screen, Chen Wei smiled excitedly. The task information of the training assessment is finally out. As the door of the Legion conference room opened, many powerful instructors walked out of the spacious conference room. This year's task target is much higher, and I don't know if these freshmen can handle it. Instructor Wang Xiangxin showed a sly smile on his face. It's okay, geniuses should be treated like geniuses. Instructor Zhu Hao glanced at the smoking area sign above, and then took out an unopened cigarette box from his star ring. 2 cigarettes, he tilted his head to look at Wang Xiangxin, his expression a little tired. Didn't you quit smoking? Wang Xiangxin looked Zhu Hao up and down, his expression a little puzzled. It's just 1 cigarette, it's no problem. After saying that, Instructor Zhu Hao looked into the distance, which was the direction of the Qin Shi Huang ruins, with a serious face. Hey, Lao Wang, do you think it's really safe for this class of freshmen to explore the Qin Shi Huang ruins? You may be killed by a strange beast falling from the sky when you go out for a run. Do you think the Qin Shi Huang ruins are dangerous? Wang Xiangxin smiled. He didn't understand when his comrade-in-arms, who had a strong and indifferent character and only acted according to orders, became so sentimental. It's rare that an extremely outstanding talent appeared in this military training. I don't know why, but I always have a bad feeling this time. Instructor Zhu Hao's voice was very low. Although he did not awaken the talent of foresight, his intuition has always been very accurate. Hearing this, Wang Xiangxin was slightly stunned, and then patted his shoulder vigorously. What are you worrying about? This nagging look is really unlike you. With our group of instructors and Chief Yun, even if the Scarlet disaster comes again, we can defend Yongli Island. Instructor Zhu Hao glanced at the big man in front of him speechlessly. What nonsense are you talking about? If the Scarlet disaster comes again, the beast-taming army on Yongli Island will lose at least half of its beast tamers, and even the freshmen participating in the military training this time may be wiped out. But the freshmen you lead are really fierce. That boy is called Chen Wei, right? Just now, Chief Yun increased the difficulty of the task for his team at the meeting. Wang Xiangxin was a little surprised. Others don't know that if his military training instructor dared to issue such an outrageous mission target, he would dare to go and die directly, and give the beasts more food. From himself, even if these freshmen participating in the military training are the pride of the 5 major universities in Donghua, the 5th level command of the beast is still an existence that they cannot contend with. Even if he has not seen Chen Wei, a famous genius, in person, but from the task specially issued by the chief this time, it can be seen how outrageous Chen Wei, a demon who breaks the routine, is. It's just a 5th level beast. Zhu Hao threw the half-smoked cigarette in his hand into the trash can, and then glanced at his comrades lightly. If the mission target of Chen Wei's team is only a 4th level elite beast, with Chen Wei's terrifying physical strength, I'm afraid he can solve the target with fists and feet without even summoning the pet beast, so there will be no effective training. Yes, let's not talk anymore. I should also go to give those little guys a training mission. Wang Xiangxin nodded in agreement. Why hasn't the instructor come yet? Ding Xiling, who had been waiting for a long time, couldn't help but complain. At this moment, the gate of the base suddenly opened, and Instructor Zhu Hao glanced at the freshmen in the training room. Without further ado, the captains of each team come to me to receive the mission, under the gaze of the team members. Chen Wei took a document from Instructor Zhu Hao. Team mission objective: kill or capture 2 5th level commanding beasts in the Yongli Mountains. Note, the 5th level beasts in the Yongli Mountains are Kangayan Fire Falcon, Chongxi Blue Python, Blood-Eye Demon Spider, Danking Tree Demon. 5th level commanding beast. Looking at the information in his hand, Chen Wei was slightly stunned, and then returned to his own team with a calm expression. Although he knew that the team would increase the difficulty of the mission because of him, the 5th level commanding beast was still a bit outrageous. Except for myself and Yu Yang in the team, I'm afraid that the members of other teams can't break the defense of the 5th level commanding beast. Thinking of this huge gap in strength, Chen Wei couldn't help but turn his head to look at his teammates. Chapter 309, Danking Tree Demon. What's wrong? Is the mission difficult? Wu Sixi, who has an active personality, subconsciously came to Chen Wei to watch, then opened her mouth slightly and her eyes suddenly widened. Seeing this, the other team members also looked at the documents in the captain's hand curiously. I have bad news for everyone. The mission target of our team is to lead the 5th level alien beast, Chen Wei said helplessly. What's the matter with the instructor? This mission is obviously aimed at the captain of the team, and it does not take into account the experience of the team members at all. Hearing this, Yu Zilman and Wu Sixi's faces turned black. With Captain Chen Wei, they are not afraid. Instead, they are worried that their pets cannot contain the 5th level alien beasts, thus becoming a weak breakthrough point for the team. At this time, other teams also learned their mission targets. Unlike Chen Wei's team, the highest mission target of other beast-controlling teams is only the 4th level elite alien beast. Even Zhuang Jingzheng's team, their mission target is only the 4th level upper level double-winged flying tiger. You were allowed to win by just holding your thighs, now you are miserable. Several freshmen who were gloating looked at the members of Chen Wei's team with pity. Well, do you see the towering mountain in the distance? That is your training site, the Yongli Mountain Range. Instructor Zhu Hao glanced at the freshmen who were gloating and reminded them. There are a large number of exotic beasts living in the Yongli Mountain Range. I remind you that after entering the mountain range, you may encounter powerful exotic beasts with higher levels than a mission target at any time, so you'd better keep in vigilance at all times. At this point, Instructor Zhu Hao's voice paused slightly. The difficulty of the training mission represents the overall evaluation of your team by the core. If you are confident enough, you can also directly hunt exotic beasts higher than the mission target in the Yongli Mountains. Of course, the premise is that you will not cause the loss of team members. Finally, the exotic beasts you hunt will be received by the responsible instructors and can be directly converted into credits for Zidane University. The higher the strength of the exotic beasts, the more credits can be exchanged. At this time, hearing that there are credits to be earned, the eyes of the freshmen present all lit up. It is now 8 o'clock in Jinhua time. The training assessment will end on time at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You still have 9 hours to complete the task. Looking down at his watch, Instructor Zhu Hao smiled. The Yongli Mountains are located in the southern area of Yongli Island. The altitude is more than 13,650 meters. The entire mountain is pyramid-shaped. The terrain inside is particularly steep. There are some rare and exotic beasts that are difficult for ordinary beastmasters to encounter. It is said that there are chillings in the depths of the Yongli Mountains. Even many beastmasters in the beast-taming corps will come to this mountain to find or contract some rare and exotic beasts. At this time, Chen Wei's team was walking on the outskirts of Yongli Mountain Range. In the sky, a frost falcon was carefully observing the surrounding situation. There are 3 steel wolves wandering 500 meters ahead, and their strength is about the middle of the 3rd level, Yu Zilman said. I understand. Chen Wei touched Kai Ling's head. In fact, before the frost falcon discovered the ambush of the alien beast, Kai Ling had already sensed the 3 sneaky steel wolves through her mental power. However, in order to increase Yu Zilman's confidence, Chen Wei selectively concealed this point. The 3rd level steel wolf is a good training object. Do any of you want to continue to train the combat ability of your pet? Chen Wei pointed to the solid steel in front. Let Yagojin and I try, Yu Yang said. As the strongest person in the team besides the captain, he can completely cooperate with a Yagojin to deal with this small fish alien beast like the steel wolf, and there is no need for the captain he admires to take action. Then leave it to you. Chen Wei smiled slightly. Boom! With 2 explosions, 3 steel wolves that had hidden themselves as stubborn stones on the roadside and were planning to launch a sneak attack collapsed to the ground under the continuous attacks of the Iron Spring Snake and the Holy Light Star. The steel covering their bodies became bumpy. Well done, Chen Wei exclaimed at the wonderful cooperation between Yu Yang and Yao Jin. A lower-level Iron Spring Snake and a higher-level Holy Light Star cooperated to easily and neatly deal with 3 middle-level steel wolves in just a few seconds. Yu Yang and Yao Jin were indeed freshmen at Zidane University. It was as easy as drinking water for them to command their pets to fight against each other across levels. No, we are far worse than the captain. Hearing the captain's praise, Yu Yang smiled a little stiffly. Perhaps Chen Wei's praise made Yu Yang feel particularly proud. All the strange beasts that Chen Wei's team encountered were dealt with by the energetic Yu Yang, and even Wu Sixi and Ding Xiling on the side had no chance to make a move. I'm not saying that you're working too hard. Can you leave a few alien beasts for my Thunder Tiger? Wu Sixi said, looking at Yu Yang, who was panting slightly and had consumed most of his internal energy. Sorry, I'll leave a few more for you next time. Yu Yang swallowed the pills that restored his energy and physical strength, and smiled embarrassedly. Everyone, don't make any noise. There's a big guy ahead. Chen Wei suddenly lowered his voice. Hearing this, the team members looked at each other, and their faces suddenly became solemn. The alien beast that could make Captain Chen Wei so alert must be at least a 4th level upper beast, and it might even be a 5th level commander. Yu Zilman even looked up at the frost falcon in the sky. Xiaolan, are you lazy? You didn't even notice the alien beast hidden in front, Frost Falcon. It quickly used the sharp eye skill to scan the direction of Chen Wei's team again. Li, Greek letter Omega, there is indeed no strange beast ahead. Hearing the words transmitted by Xiaolan's mind, Yu Zilman shook her head. It seems that Xiaolan's reconnaissance ability needs to be improved. Yu Zilman did not continue to pursue the negligence of Fen Shuangbinghuan, but looked curiously at the colorful spirit wrapped around Chen Wei's wrist. If she guessed correctly, Kailing should have used mental skills to discover the unknown strange beast. Yi, another tree spirit. After saying that, Kailing told Chen Wei all the appearances of the strange beast she sensed. The head is a green tree vine entwined together. And there are 2 dark green plant roots similar to human arms on the left and right sides of the body. The trunk rooted deep in the ground is still 3 crystallized green crystals. Isn't this the 5th level leader strange beast, Danking Tree Demon? Chen Wei's eyes suddenly lit up. He didn't expect that his team had just entered the periphery of Yongli Mountains for a while and encountered the mission target of this training assessment. Is this the legendary fate? Chapter 310 Qualification obtained. Kailing, you lead the way. Chen Wei frowned as he looked at the lush forest not far away. Unlike the 4th level alien beasts, the 5th level commander level alien beasts can kill their teammates instantly if they have the intention to kill. He dare not let Yu Yang's Tiquan snake continue to act as the vanguard. The danger is too high. Thinking of this, Chen Wei glanced at the blue sky without a trace. What a keen perception. Sure enough, if you don't have a special high-level source device on your body, it is really difficult to hide your tracks in front of the perspective spirit eyes. Instructor Zhu Hao smiled bitterly, and under him was a crane-like Tapet with a bright red flesh crown and long and powerful legs. Because the Yongli Mountains are too dangerous, according to the Legion's safety assessment of the freshman team, each freshman team has an instructor or a master beast master behind them to protect them to avoid unexpected accidents. And he is the bodyguard responsible for the safety of Chen Wei's team. Look at me, I'll kill it. Upon hearing Chen Wei's order, Kailing rushed to the front in high spirits. Don't be careless, the forest is its home ground. After warning Kailing through his mind, Chen Wei turned his head and reminded the team members around him, there is a 5th level Danking Tree Demon in the forest ahead. Be careful of attacks from the ground. Danking Tree Demon. Yu Xianglu immediately became interested. The Danking Tree Demon is a plant-based beast with a strong sense of territory, and often actively attacks all creatures that invade its territory. However, the Danking Heart contained in the Danking Tree Demon is an excellent spiritual medicine, which can be used to refine the 5th level top-grade elixir, Longevity Pill. You know, this rare longevity pill can extend the life of the Beast Master by 3 years, and therefore, the value represented by the Danking Heart is not insignificant. Attack now. Kailing turned her head and looked at her Beastmaster. No, let me get some information first. As soon as the voice fell, Chen Wei touched the star ring with his fingertips, and Yutong's figure suddenly appeared in the white talisman array in front of him. What kind of pet is this? It looks so strong. Everyone looked at the pet next to the captain with eyes like red sun and a mysterious silver glow all over its body in surprise. With Yutong protecting him, Chen Wei didn't care about his teammates' surprise. He looked at the dense forest in the distance, which had completely turned into a sea of green plants, and a golden light flashed in his calm eyes. Pet name, Danking Tree Monster. Pet attributes, wood, water, earth. Racial level, Transcendent Commander. Strength level, lower 5th tier. Racial skills, Heart of Danking, Resurrection Drop, Steel Vine, Vine Field, Endless Ground Crack lower 5th tier. It seems that Kailing and Yutong will have to attack together to be safe. Chen Wei used his penetrating spiritual eyes to scan the forest below, and finally successfully found the hiding place of the roots of the danking tree monster, which was a group of crystallized giant roots intertwined and shining. Ice-sealed absolute domain plus frost star falling. Chen Wei conveyed his thoughts. With large-scale skills such as frost star falling and ice tornado that pose a high threat to wood-type pets, he would not foolishly enter the forest to fight a wood-type monster that has the advantage of home court. Then, he looked at Yutong on the right, who was full of fighting spirit. Prepare for the most powerful heavenly sanction. Hearing this, the two pets immediately let out a soft hum of excitement. Then Keiling immediately soared into the sky, and her slender body released an endless chill that made people tremble. In just a dozen seconds, countless majestic ice source forces gathered in the sky, and finally formed a frost star with a diameter of hundreds of meters under the terrified eyes of everyone. For a moment, in addition to the big sun in the blue sky, there was another huge star that was enough to compete with the scorching sun, and it emitted a cold air that froze the space. Such a violent movement certainly could not be hidden from the perception of the danking tree demon. The next second, a violent roar sounded, and there were strong shocks on the ground. Countless green tree vines rushed out of the sky and attacked the frost star in the sky. Obviously, this was a counterattack by the danking tree demon who sensed the danger. However, all these weak counterattacks seemed a little too late in Keiling's eyes. Keiling's majestic eyes burst into sharp blue light, and the huge, bone-shelling frost star seemed to have received a great blessing, and fell into the forest with a whistling force that was faster than thunder. Ugh! A deafening roar accompanied by a shrill wail sounded. The originally green forest was hit by the frost star, and at this moment, huge spider web-like cracks appeared. The original location of the danking tree demon has become a huge ice crystal pit with a length and width of about hundreds of meters, reflecting a sharp and cold light in the morning sun. Is this the captain's true strength? Defeating the 5th level commander beast is as easy as drinking water. The team members looked up at the ice crystal ravine that suddenly appeared in front of them, and their faces showed a strong admiration and shock. To be honest, it's not that they have too little knowledge and have never seen a scene with more shocking destructive power than this, but that such a powerful skill appearing on a new pet is really too exaggerated. At this time, Chen Wei confirmed through his clairvoyant eyes that the danking tree demon had fallen into coma before he showed up. He had no choice but to say to Yutong on the side, cancel the fate's sanction. He thought that the 5th level command beast was extremely powerful and needed the joint efforts of Keiling and Yutong to deal with it. Unexpectedly, he overestimated the strength of the 5th level command beast and underestimated Keiling's terrifying strength that was enough to fight 2 levels higher. Meow! Hearing Chen Wei's order, the companion-armed fate ring that appeared faintly behind Yutong instantly dissipated. Unfortunately, the opponent is too weak. Yutong looked at the ice pit in front of him and shook his head a little unhappy. The picking of the danking heart is more cumbersome. Captain, do you know how to collect it? Looking at the captain in front of him who was looking at the danking tree demon without knowing where to start, Yu Xianglu couldn't help but ask. You know, Chen Wei said in surprise. It was because he knew the preciousness of the danking heart that he didn't know how to deal with this danking tree demon. I've learned a little bit. If the captain is at ease, I can help you pick the danking heart, Yu Xianglu volunteered. Although the danking heart is not a high-level beast resource, it is a rare resource that has the effect of prolonging life. Such a rare beast resource is difficult to buy even at the auction. Then I'll trouble you, Chen Wei nodded happily. Only 1 hour after the assessment began, their team completed the training mission, which meant that the qualification to enter the Qin Shi Huang ruins had fallen into their hands. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 311, Coldly Chilling. Do you want to return to the base to submit the mission first, or earn more credits in Yongli Mountains? Chen Wei put the transparent danking heart into the star ring and asked his teammates around him. There are not many opportunities to earn a lot of credits. How about we go deeper into Yongli Mountains? Wu Sixi suggested. With the captain here, I think it's okay, everyone agreed. Seeing this, Chen Wei also showed an excited smile on his face. As the captain, he has a bonus of double credits. If he continues to stay in Yongli Mountains to look for exotic beasts, he may be able to earn a lot of credits in this day. Just when Chen Wei and his group were eager to try, Instructor Zhu Hao fell silent as he looked at the danking tree demon whose resources had been plundered. It seems that not only I, but even Chief Yun underestimated this monster Chen Wei. The 5th level lower ranked commanding beast is not enough for Chen Wei to use beast control or cooperation to fight, let alone make him feel a sense of crisis. After thinking for a while, Instructor Zhu Hao cast his eyes to the distance in the opposite direction of Chen Wei's team, where there is a cold pond that has never seen the sun all year round. There is a 5th level lower ranked cold dragon in the middle area of Yongli mountain range. Perhaps it can bring a sense of crisis at the moment of life and death to Chen Wei, but in order to impress that greedy cold dragon, it will take a lot of ice resources. Thinking of this, Instructor Zhu Hao showed a bit of pain on his face. Unlike other wild pets, the cold dragon in Yongli mountain range is a dragon species bred by Chief Yun's trump pet. The race level has reached the epic overlord, and the background is extremely profound. Even though he was a king-level beast master, he could only lure the young master Qilin, who was only at the lower level of the 5th level, with benefits. As for forcing him, that was absolutely impossible. After all, Zhu Hao didn't want to be approached by an epic real dragon, cold green Qilin, who was protecting his calf. It seems that I will offend another new student with infinite potential. Zhu Hao smiled bitterly, and then clicked the communication table on his wrist. Who would have thought that facing death was the ultimate goal of this new student training assessment? After research by the Beastmaster Corps, it was found that a Beastmaster genius who had suffered great terror between life and death had a certain chance of being able to see his true nature, so that his soul realm could enter the yellow level. You know, the so-called soul realm of a Beastmaster is not divided by the amount of mental power, but is divided into heaven and earth according to the level of the Beastmaster's state of mind. The soul realm that can see through life and death, see the true nature, and point directly to the original heart is the yellow level. Yellow level souls can increase the chances of a Beastmaster advancing to the king level by 50%, and even increase the chances of a Beastmaster advancing to the epic level by 20%. However, not every Beastmaster genius can see his true nature in life and death. There are many geniuses who died on the battlefield, but there are only a few Beastmasters who can comprehend the realm of yellow level souls and survive. However, Zhu Hao believes that even if other Beastmasters cannot do it, with Chen Wei's demonic qualifications, he can definitely see his true nature in this tempering, and it is all worth it. When the sun began to set, the training and assessment of the freshmen were coming to an end. Under the leadership of Chen Wei, they killed more than 100 3rd-level extraordinary beasts and more than 34th-level elite beasts in the Yongli Mountains. As for the 5th-level lower-level commander-level beasts, they killed as many as 4, and one of them was killed without a trace because of Yutong's fate sanction. This caused the members of Chen Wei's team to look at Yutong with a trace of fear. It is precisely because Yutong's skills are too destructive that any attack will evaporate all the beast-controlling resources on the beast, so Chen Wei gave Yutong protection tasks and tried not to let her participate in the battles between team members. At this time, Chen Wei watched the roaring and terrifying ice tornado stop the ice dragon that suddenly appeared in front of him. The result was very ineffective, leaving almost no scars on the opponent's flawless body like glass. Chen Wei's pupils suddenly shrank, his face became solemn, and he subconsciously ordered, "K Ling, use telekinesis to block and restrict its actions. Yutong, limit and prepare the most powerful destiny sanctions. Ziling, let your red copper snapping turtle retreat quickly, otherwise it will be killed instantly." The same goes for other people's pets, also keep a safe distance and retreat. Hearing this, everyone who knew that they would only drag their feet at this moment nodded reluctantly, and then quickly ordered the pets to retreat according to the captain's instructions. Stand at the back and use red warm flame to restore the captain's pet. Yu Xianglu looked at the giant beast with a sacred face in the distance, gritted her teeth and commanded the red warm spirit rabbit. Use holy light to bless the captain's pet with a buff state. After retreating to a safe position, Wu Yaojin, who was unwilling to be a spectator, also ordered the holy light star beside him. Seeing this, although they knew it was a drop in the bucket, the other team members still let their pets cast buff skills. In an instant, colorful skills fell on K Ling and Yutong, who looked solemn. And now they are confronting an ancient mysterious creature, true dragon, that seems to have walked out of a myth. Damn. There are actually Qilins living in the Yongli Mountains. Yu Zilman's beautiful eyes stared straight at the beautiful Qilin with round dragon eyes, thick nose, and thin lines extending from the end of the sharp eyes. The tail is like a cirrus cloud, and her heart is full of disbelief. Will we die here? Ding Xiaoling's eyes turned red, as if she thought of the scene of herself being swallowed by a real dragon. Don't be afraid, with a captain here, we will be fine. Wu Sixi touched Ding Xiaoling's head and comforted her with the fear in his heart. Iron Spring Snake, find a good time to give it a poisonous blow. Yu Yang's right hand trembled and touched the Iron Spring Snake, whose body was also trembling and whose head was close to the ground. In front of the terrifying dragon's might, he knew that snakes like the Iron Spring Snake were completely powerless to resist and would even choose to die obediently. But Yu Yang was unwilling to give up. Even if the chance was slim, he wanted to fight side by side with the captain. Unfortunately, the Iron Spring Snake, whose mind was covered by fear, was still lying on the ground and completely lost its consciousness. On the other side, Chen Wei looked at the Han Liu Qilin, who was high in the sky with murderous eyes, and felt the domineering pressure of the hegemony emanating from its body, and his heart was full of doubts. With a terrifying dragon affinity brought by his second talent, dragon control power, it stands to reason that no real dragon would actively attack him unless someone instructed him to do so. Thinking of this, Chen Wei glanced at the horizon without leaving a trace. Instructor Zhu Hao, who was hiding and protecting him secretly before, had quietly disappeared at some point. Is this a coincidence or man-made? Chen Wei's eyes sank. Chapter 312 Sea God Bloodline. If he hadn't given me so much, I wouldn't have been willing to take ruthless action against such a beautiful human. The cold dragon shook its head at the group of people not far away, then raised its head and roared with majesty. A terrifying extreme coldness instantly gushed out from its glass body. Ice Dragon Domain. The next second, the sky suddenly darkened, and endless frost fell from the sky. This sudden burst of cold air attacked the entire field in an instant. Retreat quickly, looking at the cold dragon that could still use skills under the blockade of the colorful spirit's mind power, Chen Wei's pupils shrank slightly, and he shouted to his teammates behind him. At the same time, he used his mind to command the two pets to block. K Ling, maximize the output of the space mirror crack. Yu Tong, interrupt the fate of the punishment. Use the flame impact to interrupt its skills. K Ling's eyes flashed with a silver-white light, and the space where the Han Liu Qilong was located began to vibrate immediately. The silver-white space ripple seemed to condense into a flawless mirror to completely seal the Han Liu Qilong. Then the space energy exploded, and a large number of spider web-like cracks began to appear on the surface of the space mirror, and finally suddenly collapsed. However, what was torn into pieces by the violent space energy was only a piece of dragon scale left by the Han Liu Qilong when it escaped, and its figure instantly appeared behind. At this time, with a strong sonic boom, Yu Tong, who was well prepared under the command of Chen Wei, burst into violent red-gold flame and collided with the Han Liu Qilong. Boom! Yu Tong retreated several steps under the terrifying impact, and then looked at the tiny pieces of ice mixed in her silver hair with some fear. The next second, as Yu Tong raised the life source fire in her body, the ice on her body was annihilated by the boiling flames in the blink of an eye. Too late, with a faint glance at the dragon attacking from the front, the claws of the cold dragon curled up, and the power of the ice dragon domain completely erupted. Crack, crack, the overwhelming frost submerged everything around. Under the horrified eyes of the crowd, the surging cold first froze their pets, and then completely spread to their whole bodies, and finally their eyes turned black. Zilman, looking at Yu Zilman who had turned into an ice beauty in the distance, and all the other team members who had no power to resist and had been frozen into ice sculptures by the extreme cold, Chen Wei's eyes flashed with anger. Even if it's a training test, it's too much. Chen Wei clenched his fists, and his eyes flashed with a golden light. Pet name, Han Liu Qilin. Pet attributes, ice, dragon, water. Racial level, epic overlord. Strength level, lower level 5. Racial skills, Han Liu dragon scale, slicing cold breath, ice dragon domain, sky climbing ice explosion, island covering waves, overlord pressure. Pet introduction. It is said that in the Middle Ages, the Kanghe Qilin, whose strength reached the 9th level of immortality, was revered as the sea god by the coastal humans. As the blood of the sea god, Han Liu Qilin is a true dragon species that is good at controlling the power of ice and water, has the ability to avoid fire, and the dragon scales on its body can be immune to most of the damage of fire attribute skills. It's okay that it has strong resistance to ice, but it is also immune to most of the damage of fire skills. This targeting is too obvious. Chen Wei looked in the direction of the Yongli Island beast taming base, his eyes narrowed. If he encountered the demonized beasts left over from the Scarlet Disaster, he would summon Baluo as soon as possible, but he didn't believe that wild true dragon species could appear on the island where the beast taming corps was stationed. Boy, it's your turn. At this time, Han Liu Qilong cast his eyes on Chen Wei and spoke in human language. It's still uncertain who will win or lose. Chen Wei's eyes condensed. For some reason, perhaps because of the power of controlling the dragon, when he felt the terrifying dragon power coming towards him, he was not afraid at all, but was eager to try. Then try to see if you can survive this move. Han Liu Qilong glared at Chen Wei fiercely, intending to go all out to let this little guy know what the power of a real dragon is. Island covering waves, Han Liu Qilong let out a long cry, and the majestic source power fluctuations surged from its body. The terrifying power on its body, which was enough to make the strange beast surrender, became even more terrifying. Boom! A large patch of dark clouds suddenly appeared in the blue sky, a fierce lightning flashed, and drops of rain bigger than fists fell all over the sky. At the same time, a large shadow of sea waves appeared behind the cold dragon, and the surging water waves gathered at this moment. No, this ice that freezes the whole body seems to be a kind of protection. After using the delusion-breaking spiritual eyes to see clearly that the other party did not want to kill, Chen Wei immediately put aside his worries about his teammates. Then he turned his attention to the cold dragon that was casting skills in front of him, and a fighting spirit suddenly rose in his heart. What if it is an epic overlord race? Today, I will cross the level with Kai Ling and Yu Tong to crush the 5th level real dragon. Thinking of this, Chen Wei looked up at the pitch-black sky. Use the wind and rain to compete with it for the weather. Yi, understood. The next second, a strong dragon power suddenly erupted from Kai Ling's body, and then she rushed into the dark cloud at the speed of lightning. Chen Wei, flame dragon chasing the sun. Hearing this, Yu Tong opened her mouth without hesitation, and the endless fire source power gathered into a bright sun in an instant. At this moment, 2 suns appeared in the dark sky, illuminating the world. It's useless. In front of me, no matter what kind of fire pet it is, it can only lose. A trace of contempt flashed in the eyes of the arrogant Han Liu Qilong. Not only did the race level have an advantage, but there was also a gap of 2 levels of strength between the 2 sides. Even if he let it go, he didn't know how he could lose. Feel the sense of crisis from death. Han Liu Qilong opened its huge mouth, and roaring waves that could drown everything spit out from its mouth continuously. Coupled with the heavy rain falling from the sky, for a time, everything that Chen Wei could see was covered by water. At this time, Kai Ling, who had gradually mastered the celestial phenomena and sensed the danger coming, swung her tail, making the heavy rain from the sky more violent. Then she used the rain-calling skill to gather all the rain together to slowly protect Chen Wei, and finally collided with the huge waves gushing out of the mouth of Han Liu Qilong. Boom! The huge waves flooded the earth in the confrontation, and some of the roaring waves rushed down the mountain range, even sweeping away large areas of trees and soil. Faced with this doomsday disaster, a large number of strange beasts fled from their hidden nests, trying to find a high place to escape. Chapter 313, Flame Dragon Chasing the Sun. This is a bit exaggerated. Looking at the tragic scene on the big screen, Yun Xianwen couldn't help shaking his head. In order to give birth to a strong man, all this is worth it, isn't it? At this time, in the arms of General Yun, a beautiful real dragon with a dreamlike appearance, as if it should not exist in the world, raised its head. From the fact that there are no horns on its head, it can be seen that it is also a real dragon belonging to the Qilin lineage. You are right. In addition to national rules, being strong is more important than anything else. But merits are merits, and faults are faults. Xiaohun is so unscrupulous now, and he should be punished once to make him remember. Yun Xianwen rubbed the scales of the real dragon. What? Xiaohun, he completed the task you assigned and still needs to be punished. The ice-blue real dragon looked at the Beastmaster with a flash of anger in his eyes. I didn't let him make such a big fuss. The huge wave he set off is estimated to affect all the new teams participating in the training and some of the exotic beasts in the Yongli Mountains. General Yun lowered his head and stroked the dragon whiskers of his pet. Compared to punishing Xiaohun, which is an insignificant matter, don't you think that freshman is special? A mature and sexy female voice sounded, and the ice-blue dragon looked at Chen Wei on the screen in a trance. Hey, could it be that you want Xiaohun to become Chen Wei's pet? As a Beastmaster, Yun Xianwen guessed the hidden thoughts in his pet's heart at the first time. Did you always want Xiaohun to become a Beastmaster's pet? He asked curiously. The Beastmasters and the Legion are too dangerous. I don't want Xiaohong to go to the battlefield, Hanbi Chilling said softly. After so many years of fighting with the Beastmaster on the battlefield, she knew that the battlefield was full of dangers. She didn't want her child to follow her old path. Hearing this, Lieutenant General Yun was slightly stunned, and then a smile appeared on his face. It's not just this reason. Is there something about Chen Wei that attracts you? He said bluntly with a flash of his eyes. Yet, Hanbi Chilin looked at the interested light in the Beastmaster's eyes, smiled, and didn't continue to speak. I understand. I will find a chance for Xiaohan. General Yun showed a trace of pain on his face. He believed that no Beastmaster in Donghu would refuse a dominant dragon pet, not to mention that Xiaohan was a cold and slender dragon with the best potential among the dominant true dragons. However, General Yun did not know that many things in reality are often beyond people's expectations. On the other side, seeing that the battle situation was getting tense, Yutong jumped up quickly, then opened her mouth and swallowed the small sun condensed by the power of dragon fire. As the small sun disappeared, an extremely terrifying breath suddenly surged from Yutong's body. The extremely powerful source power fluctuations even made Chen Wei couldn't help but take a step back. Meow, Yutong's tightly closed diamond eyes suddenly opened, and an ancient mysterious rune slowly emerged from her pupils. The violent power in her body due to the surge in strength was suppressed in an instant. Huh? Yutong spit out a mouthful of flames, and then her strength soared from the third order upper position to the fourth order middle position under Chen Wei's shocked eyes. Seeing this, Chen Wei couldn't help but blink. He didn't expect that the skill that could only improve the strength of Yandong Honglong by one small level would actually undergo a qualitative change in Yutong's hands. With Yutong, who is at the fourth order middle level, suppressing the situation, it seems that there is no need for Kaling to use the Dragon Yuan state. Chen Wei's mouth corners slightly lifted up. Unlike Yutong's Yanlong's Yuri, which consumes source power, Kaling's strength-enhancing means that require the consumption of Dragon Yuan should of course be used as few times as possible. Yi, Greek letter Omega, I can't hold it anymore. Kaling's eyes flashed with a trace of unwillingness, and then reminded Chen Wei. If the Beastmaster hadn't stopped her from using the Dragon Yuan state, she would definitely be able to defeat the huge waves of the Ice Dragon on the opposite side with her perfect level wind and rain. Thank you for your hard work. Let Yutong do it next. Looking at the huge waves in the distance that were still powerful after defeating the colorful spirit-calling rain, Chen Wei tilted his head to look at Yutong beside him. Next, use the heavenly sanction to make it fierce. Yutong nodded slightly. With a terrifying amplitude of the flame dragon chasing the sun, now she burst out the long-accumulated heavenly sanction only faster and more powerful. The next second, the space around Yutong shook, and a mysterious wheel of destiny suddenly appeared behind her. Under the dual blessing of the wheel of destiny and the flame dragon chasing the sun, Yutong exuded a vast and terrifying aura, and a silver light column that could destroy everything suddenly surged out of the wheel of destiny. Feeling the sudden threat of death, the originally condescending Han Liu Chilin felt a tightness in his heart, and hurriedly urged the Han Liu dragon scales and quickly retreated. How is it possible? There is a huge gap in strength, but this fire-type pet can actually pose such a great threat to me. Han Liu Qilong was shocked at first, and then he was furious because he was actually scared away by a third-level pet. The angry Han Liu Qilong immediately burst out with all his strength. He wanted to use his most powerful skill, Heaven-Falling Ice Explosion, to get back at the opponent. As he roared, a stream of extremely cold frost gushed out of his body, and the surrounding ground, which was intertwined with water waves and ice, turned into cold death ice in the blink of an eye. From a distance, the outer area of Yongli mountain range had become an iceberg at this time. Heaven-Falling Ice Explosion, looking at the silver light that was coming at the speed of light, Han Liu Qilong let out a cold roar. The frost that spread between heaven and earth exploded instantly like thunder and fire. A deafening explosion sounded, and endless cold air surged wildly, carrying an unstoppable ice-blue light and fiercely facing the dazzling silver light. Soon, the extremely cold ice-blue light collided with a hot silver light. Under the incredible gaze of Han Liu Qilin, the silver light of destiny's punishment defeated the sky-falling ice explosion he released, and then enveloped his dragon body at a speed of thousands of miles in an instant. I will die under the freshman training. Feeling the heart-piercing pain from his body, Han Liu Qilin suddenly had this weird idea in his mind. The next moment, a dragon scale given to him by his mother suddenly burst into unprecedented brilliance. As the silver light of destiny's punishment disappeared, when Chen Wei looked at Han Liu Qilin who disappeared in the sky, he couldn't help but show surprise in his eyes. No way, the heavenly sanction actually triggered a critical hit. This Han Liu Qilin is actually a non-chief dragon, it can't be completely destroyed. Thinking of this possibility, Chen Wei couldn't help swallowing his throat. What's going on? It can't even withstand Yutong's heavenly sanction. Logically speaking, the Han Liu Qilin of the epic overlord race should not be so weak. Chen Wei glanced in the direction of the Yongli Island beast taming base, his eyes full of confusion. It's over, this time it's really a problem. P.S. Thank you Mooncake 2023 for the 100 starting points. Chapter 314 Demigod Reincarnation. Swish, a brilliant light burst out in the base office. I'm not dead. As if he had experienced a nightmare, Han Liu Qilong quickly looked down at his body, and then his eyes observed the surrounding environment vigilantly. When he saw the figures of Lieutenant General Yun and his mother, Han Liu Qilong's body stiffened, and he lowered his head and fell into silence. Why, you lost your fighting spirit after failing once. Yun Xiangwen looked at the Han Liu Qilong, who used to be high-spirited, and now became a depressed waste, and couldn't help but scold him. Uncle Yun, are you sure he is really just a new beast master? And not a reincarnated demigod beast master? Han Liu Qilong opened his mouth and asked unwillingly. What do you think? Lieutenant General Yun asked back. As far as he knew, there was no demigod beast master alive in Donghe at present. There is only one demigod who has been reincarnated under the heavy protection of the Beast Taming Corps, and he is currently being secretly cultivated by the country. How can another demigod reincarnate? Seeing Uncle Yun looking at a fool, Han Liu Qilin shook his head slightly. Strange, since it is not the reincarnation of a demigod, how can I, as an epic overlord race, lose to a freshman? As if seeing through his son's thoughts, Han Bi Qilin frowned and said, don't stick to the restrictions of racial level. You must know that there are many powers in this world that even demigods cannot understand. Incomprehensible power. Han Liu Qilin thought of the unmatched silver light before, and was subconsciously startled. His eyes looked at his mother in disbelief. Well, that puppet has awakened unprecedented attribute power, and that terrifying power can even bring it victory. Han Liu Qilin looked at the Destiny Dragon puppet on the screen, and a trace of imperceptible fear flashed in his eyes. As long as she wanted, she could definitely crush and kill this mysterious pet in an instant. But her intuition told her that such behavior would only bring her unbearable consequences. New attributes. Yun Xiangwen's eyes flashed, and he tapped the star ring with his finger, and all the information about Chen Wei suddenly appeared in his hand. It seems that the power of destiny in the secret realm of the Turtle Island volcano is not a rumor. Perhaps this is an opportunity. Thinking of this, he smiled and looked at Han Liu Qilin and asked, if Chen Wei becomes your beast master, can you accept it, him? Be my beast master. Hearing this, Han Liu Qilin was slightly stunned, and his expression was particularly complicated. It's okay. If it's him, I can barely accept it. After a long time, Han Liu Qilin's somewhat embarrassed voice came from the silent office. Seeing this, Yun Xianwen couldn't help but smile at his old partner Han Bi Qilin. Forget it, the safety of the team members is more important. Looking at the place where Han Liu Qilin disappeared, Chen Wei took a deep breath, and then turned his attention to Kailing. How are they? Greek letter Omega? Should be safe. Kailing blinked. As she moved her mind, the surrounding space began to distort, and then a large piece of beautiful ice sculptures suddenly appeared in front of Chen Wei. Kailing, can you unfreeze the frozen state? Seeing that the thawing agent he took out from the star ring did not work at all, Chen Wei began to ask for help. Yi. Cap, you can try it. Kailing used her dragon claws to scratch several obvious marks on the ice, and said solemnly. Well, then I'll leave it to you. If it doesn't work, we'll rush back to the base as soon as possible to help them thaw. After instructing Kailing, Chen Wei took out the source power recovery pill from the star ring and handed it to Yutong, who was panting beside him. In order to exert the power of the destiny sanction to the limit, Yutong had almost emptied all the source power in her body. Then, under Chen Wei's surprised eyes, Kailing spewed out the silver and blue frost dragon breath from her mouth and fell on the ice sculpture, making the ice covering it thicker. Crack, crack, under the erosion of the frost embers, the ice covering Yu Zilman's body began to show a large number of web-like cracks, and finally collapsed and shattered together with the star-soft armor on her body. Looking at Yu Zilman in front of him, who was naked and covered with ice fragments, Chen Wei's pupils shrank, and he quickly took out clothes from the star ring to cover her. Why does your thawing method also explode clothes? Chen Wei rubbed Kailing's head. Yi, Greek letter omega? I have tried my best not to let them be hurt by the frost embers. Kailing looked at her beastmaster with some confusion, and didn't think there was anything wrong with her method at all. Ahem. At this time, Yu Zilman coughed twice and gradually woke up from her coma. Did you survive? After regaining consciousness, Yu Zilman stood up and was alert, and then found that a piece of clothing fell from her body. A gust of cold wind blew, and she subconsciously covered the clothes tightly with her hands, and felt that her whole body was chilly. Thank you. Looking at Chen Wei, who had already turned around, Yu Zilman only glanced at the broken ice on the ground and the ice sculpture teammates around her, and she knew that she was the first team member rescued by Chen Wei from the frozen state. She suppressed her inner shyness, took out clothes from the star ring and changed them, and then suggested, save Xianglu and the others first. They are weak and need to be thawed as soon as possible. The pets are strong and can be rescued later. Yes, I know. Chen Wei nodded with his back to Yu Zilman. Learning from the lesson just now, he did not intend to turn around this time, and directly handed over all the rescue work to Kailing. Soon, under Kailing's frost dragon breath, the team members who fell into hibernation due to the extreme cold broke out of the ice one by one. Don't worry, I changed your clothes, and the captain didn't turn around the whole time, fearing that unnecessary misunderstandings would occur after the teammates woke up, or that they would have other ideas, Yu Zilman explained to Wu Sixi, who woke up from the coma. Ah! Why wasn't I the first one to wake up? Hearing this, Wu Sixi looked at the pile of broken armor and ice on the ground, then glanced at Captain Chen Wei, who was standing not far away like a wooden man, with a trace of regret in his eyes. Is everyone okay? Looking at the team members who were already dressed neatly in front of him, Chen Wei asked with concern. It's okay, thank you Captain, everyone responded. Captain, where's the ice dragon that appeared inexplicably? Ding Ziling's eyes flashed with curiosity. Hearing this, everyone also cast their curious eyes on their captain. The strength of the ice dragon is really too strong. The captain must have spent a lot of effort to rescue them from the ice dragon. Chapter 315 Mechanical Chip. It ran away, or it died. Chen Wei smiled bitterly. If the cold dragon ran away, it would be easy to say, but I am afraid that it died under Yutong's fate and didn't even leave ashes. Dead, everyone was stunned and stood there. In their eyes, the majestic and terrifying dragon died just like that. How strong is the captain? Everyone looked at Chen Wei with more and more solemn eyes. The assessment time is almost over, and we should return to the base. Taking out his mobile phone to check the time, Chen Wei reminded the team members without saying any more nonsense. At this time, Wu Yaojin looked at Chen Wei's calm expression and couldn't help raising his hand to ask a question. Captain, can I use the 6th level top-grade elixir, Zuidan, to buy the evolutionary roadmap of the Kongming Frost Dragon from you? I can sign a contract to keep it confidential and will never pass on this evolutionary roadmap. As Wu Yaojin said this, the team members present looked at each other for a few times, and their faces also showed a moving look. Obviously, the Kongming Shuangjiao, which was able to defeat the Hanliu Qilin, had become the best pet in everyone's eyes. As for the captain's second pet, the Xianming Longgao, they selectively ignored it. Hearing this, Yu Zilman's face changed. Just as she was about to scold Wu Yaojin for her wishful thinking, she was stopped by Chen Wei's eyes. The Kongming Shuangjiao is a special evolution form of the Hanliu snake, which is basically impossible to copy. Chen Wei looked at Wu Yaojin deeply and explained. In addition, I have signed a confidentiality agreement with the Beast Taming Association, so I can't reveal the evolution information of the Kongming Shuangjiao to you. Chen Wei showed regret on his face. The 6th level top-grade elixir, Zuidan, can greatly increase the spiritual power of the king-level beastmaster, and can also make the 5th level upper spiritual pet of the brilliant king race break through to the 6th level 100%. Such a precious elixir is definitely a rare good thing, but it's a pity that he was bribed by President Meng with 1,000 contribution points. I understand. Wu Yaojin's face darkened, and the intentions on the faces of the other team members disappeared at this moment. On Blue Star, if the price is high enough, asking other Beastmasters and buying the evolution roadmap is actually not an excessive thing. This is why Wu Yaojin dared to ask boldly. Half an hour later, at the training ground of the Yongli Island Beast Taming Base, Instructor Zhu Hao looked at the Chen Wei team, who returned safely in front of him with some disbelief, and his mentality collapsed directly. No way, could it be that the 5th level Han Liu Chilling can't beat a group of freshmen? Instructor, do you know the Han Liu Chilling in the Yangli Mountains? Chen Wei suddenly asked when handing in the exotic beast materials. Hearing this, Instructor Zhu Hao was silent for a while, and then said, well, I know that the Han Liu Chilling is the descendant of Chief Yun's pet. As soon as this was said, Yu Zilman, Yu Xianglu and others looked at Instructor Zhu Hao with incredible eyes. This is also part of the experience assessment, Zhu Hao explained without changing his face. How is it possible? If it weren't for the captain, we would have almost died. Thinking of the fear and unwillingness in his heart when he was frozen by the cold dragon, Wu Sixi asked excitedly. There is a great terror between life and death. This is the test of enlightenment that every genius beastmaster must undergo. Facing everyone's doubts, Instructor Zhu Hao said calmly. However, when he kept his eyes on Chen Wei, he couldn't help but twitch his mouth. What kind of monster beastmaster is this? A new beastmaster who is only 19 years old can defeat the 5th level overlord race of the Cold Dragon. If such an amazing news spreads, it may shock the entire beastmaster world of Donghu. Okay, stop talking nonsense, now it's time to distribute rewards. Zhu Hao changed the subject. According to the instructions of the leader, the 115 third-level extraordinary beasts you hunted can be converted into 115 credits. The 37 4th-level elite beasts can be converted into 370 credits, and the 4 5th-level command beasts can be converted into 4,000 credits. So each of you can get 4,485 credits. As for Chen Wei, the captain, you will get double bonus, so you can get 8,970 credits. At this point, Zhu Hao took out several credit cards from the star ring and handed them to Chen Wei. Hearing this, Chen Wei's eyes lit up. According to Sister Tan, the points in the sect can be exchanged with the credits of Rosewood University, and the exchange rate is 1-to-1. In this way, isn't it equivalent to directly collecting nearly 1/10 of the Pure World True Flame method? When the other team members heard that the rewards for the training assessment were so generous, they looked at each other and stopped questioning Instructor Zhu Hao about the ins and outs of the Han Liu Chilling attack. Seeing this, Instructor Zhu Hao subconsciously breathed a sigh of relief. He thought about it, and as if out of guilt, he gave a reminder. Tomorrow is the day when the Qin Shi Huang ruins will be opened. You'd better prepare more advanced mechanical chips. After saying that, Instructor Zhu Hao left the training ground. Advanced mechanical chips? This thing is not cheap. One costs tens of millions of star coins, Ding Xiling muttered. There are many mechanical pets in the Qin Shi Huang ruins. Prepare more advanced mechanical chips. Maybe you can contract a king or even a dominant mechanical pet, Yu Yang explained. After all, it is a ruin related to the Qin Shi Huang. No matter how much you value it, it is not excessive. In order to obtain a pet with strong potential for this ruins expedition, with the preparation of the family, he has collected 15 advanced mechanical chips, and even prepared 3 rare top-level mechanical chips. Can advanced mechanical chips be bought at the Yongli Island base? Yu Zilman asked curiously. You need military points to exchange resources in the base, and beastmasters who have not joined the army cannot get military points. Yu Xianglu shook her head. If you don't have advanced mechanical chips, I can sell you 1 or 2 at the original price. Thank you, then I want 2. Yu Zilman's beautiful eyes suddenly lit up. 1 is enough for me, Ding Xiling said softly. I don't know if there are any dragon-type mechanical pets in the Qin Shi Huang ruins, otherwise I always feel that the mechanical system and the power of dragon control are a bit incompatible. Just when Chen Wei was considering whether to buy chips from Yu Xianglu, Yu Zilman had already come to his side with a smile on her face. Have you prepared advanced chips? She asked with a smile. No, Chen Wei shook his head. The next second, he felt his palms warm up, and 2 advanced mechanical chips were instantly stuffed into his hands. What are you doing? Chen Wei looked at Yu Zilman's eyes and was stunned. This is to thank you for saving my life in the training assessment, isn't it okay? At this point, the smile on Yu Zilman's face became more and more moving. Chapter 316 Demonic Beast. The next morning, a domineering mechanical fighter plane descended from the sky above the highest peak of the Yongli Mountains, and around it were 5 large transport planes. A large number of freshmen got off the transport planes, including Chen Wei's team. The first Emperor's ruins, just thinking about it makes me feel that there are dangers everywhere. The handsome Yu Yang glanced around the expectant beastmasters around him, his face a little nervous. There's nothing to worry about. When the time comes, the mechanical pets inside the ruins will become our guardians, Wu Yaojin said with a relaxed smile. Guardians are guardians, but they have to fight when they need to fight, otherwise there won't be so many restrictions on entering the first Emperor's ruins. Seeing Wu Yaojin's self-righteous look, Yu Yang was speechless. The secret realm is about to open. Chen Wei interrupted their conversation and looked up at General Yun, who flew out of the mechanical fighter plane. The first Emperor's secret realm is officially open. As General Yun's words fell, the large mysterious rune array set up on the top of Yongli Peak suddenly burst into dazzling light. The next second, a mysterious passage that was looming in the space fluctuation suddenly appeared. It's time to set off. Chen Wei looked at his teammates beside him, and an excited smile appeared on his face. Buzz buzz buzz. At this moment, the Kongming stone bracelets that the freshmen received from the Legion resonated with a passage in the sky, and thousands of dazzling lights were sprinkled from the secret passage to all the freshmen and instructors on the top of Yongli Peak. In the blink of an eye, only dozens of beast masters who were still on guard were left on the originally crowded top of Yongli Peak. When Chen Wei opened his eyes, he looked at the familiar teammates beside him and the sudden appearance of Instructor Zhu Hao, and his expression could not help but be slightly stunned. Instructor Zhu Hao, why are you here too? Wearing luxurious armor interwoven with black and silver, Instructor Zhu Hao patted Chen Wei's shoulder with his muscular arm, and his voice was steady and reliable. There are dozens of ruins in the secret realm of the first Emperor. Without me leading the way, how do you know which one is the real ruins of the first Emperor? As soon as the voice fell, Instructor Zhu Hao directly summoned the fully armed Banai giant elephant. You guys come up first. It's a long way from here to the number 1 Qin Shi Huang ruins. It will be faster if I take you there. Instructor Zhu Hao frowned slightly, as if he recognized the surrounding environment. Hearing this, everyone looked at the instructor gratefully, and then jumped onto the broad back of the Banai giant elephant. Before entering the ruins, you must be careful. There are still some remaining demonized beasts inside the secret realm. Instructor Zhu Hao looked at the pool of dried blood in the distance, his face a little solemn. With the actions of a large number of powerful beast control troops, there is no demonized beast surviving on Yongli Island now. But in the vast secret realm and the numerous restricted ruins, there are still a few remnants of demonized beasts with strange abilities who use the secret realm ruins to avoid a heavy strangulation of the beast control troops. However, because the strange aura of demonized beasts above the 5th level is too obvious, they are completely the key targets of the beast control troops. Therefore, although the demonized beasts that can survive are not easy to deal with, their strength is basically not higher than that of the 5th level commander. Zhu Hao thought that the demonized beasts in the secret realm had been almost hunted down by the army, but he did not expect that he would encounter traces of demonized beasts as soon as he was teleported into the secret realm. Demonized beasts. Hearing this name, Ding Ziling's body stiffened, and her beautiful eyes were full of fear. As the only survivor of the demonized beasts, she knew very well that the demonized beasts were a group of blood-loving, death-seeking, crazy and curious terrifying beings. Don't worry, it's okay. Sensing Ding Ziling's inner fear, Chen Wei smiled and comforted her. In his opinion, it was not the scarlet disaster that was coming, and a group of demonized beasts that had been almost killed were really not worthy of being on the stage. No, Captain, you don't know the horror of demonized beasts. They are a group of monsters that can't die. Faced with the captain's comfort, Ding Ziling's emotions became more and more nervous, and even her breathing became rapid. Seeing this, the other team members couldn't help but look at Ding Ziling curiously, and their faces were more or less nervous and uneasy. It's too much to say that they can't die. Even demigods will fall in this world, let alone a bunch of scum. Instructor Zhu Hao turned his head and glanced at Ding Ziling. Seeing that she seemed to be frightened, he said with dissatisfaction. In order to let everyone have a clear understanding of the demonized beasts and reduce their fear, Instructor Zhu Hao took the initiative to talk about some information about the demonized beasts. The demonized beasts will appear with the birth of the Xianyun secret realm. In the mouth of researchers, they are also called demonized strange beasts, etc. They can be said to be the common enemy of humans and beasts. At this point, Instructor Zhu Hao looked at the ground in the distance and his mind moved. A piece of sand and stone stained with dried blood instantly appeared in his hand. The appearance of strange beasts will lead to devastating disasters. Ordinary people will go crazy just by seeing or thinking about the appearance of strange beasts. Some lawless elements will even mix the information of demonized strange beasts into the information of beast control. This is why the country blocks most of the knowledge of strange beasts from ordinary people. Hearing this, Chen Wei's pupils suddenly shrank. Is it his illusion? Why does this terrifying demonized beast sound a bit like the evil god circulated in the previous life? Strange beasts contain various attributes, including void, evil spirit, scarlet, death, and magic shadow, etc., and this pool of blood is left by the scarlet beast. According to the breath, the strength of this scarlet beast is about the 3rd level. Under the astonished eyes of everyone, Instructor Zhu Hao crushed the blood-stained gravel. Unlike ordinary beasts, what makes strange beasts the most difficult for beast masters to deal with is that they all have extremely strong immortality and infectiousness. This is why Ding Xiling said that demonized beasts are monsters that cannot die. Zhu Hao explained the information of demonized beasts to the freshman, and at the same time, he kept reporting the locations where suspected demonized beasts appeared to the Beastmaster base inside the secret realm. Extremely infectious? In other words, strange beasts can infect humans or beasts into strange systems, Chen Wei asked in surprise. That's right, Instructor Zhu Hao glanced at Chen Wei and continued to explain. But there is one thing to be thankful for. The beasts or humans infected by the demonized beasts will only inherit part of the infectious power of the beasts, and will not completely inherit the immortality of the beasts. Otherwise, perhaps several countries near Donghu would have fallen under the demonized beast tide. Is the immortality of the beasts very strong? Seeing that Instructor Zhu Hao was very afraid of the demonized beasts, Chen Wei couldn't help but ask. Chapter 317, National Defense Mecha. Very strong, it is unstoppable for low-level beastmasters. No matter how powerful the demonized beast is, beastmasters below the king level cannot kill it. So if you encounter a demonized beast, it is best not to try to fight it. Choosing to escape directly is the way to survive with the highest probability, Instructor Zhu Hao said solemnly. Instructor, can beastmasters below the king level definitely not kill demonized beasts? Even first-level demonized beasts? Thinking of Yutong's Hangguang body and the powerful and unparalleled fate punishment, Chen Wei's eyes flickered slightly. You'd better give up this idea. I can tell you that except for beastmasters above the 6th level, including the 6th level, even beastmasters at the peak of the 5th level cannot kill a first-level demonized beast. Instructor Zhu Hao's tone was unquestionable. Instructor, I have a question. Doesn't the demonized beast have anything to fear? Wu Sixi raised his hand and asked. After thinking for a while, Instructor Zhu Hao said truthfully, gold, fire, thunder, light, spirit, space and time pets can cause obvious damage to demonized beasts, but they cannot completely kill them. Only beastmasters, pets or special source devices above the 6th level can completely kill demonized beasts, so that's it. No wonder the status of king-level beastmasters is so high. Just when everyone was shocked, Chen Wei looked down at his star ring and couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. With Bailuo, the 7th-level overlord, guarding him, he was really not afraid of the so-called demonized beasts. The ruins of the first emperor are coming soon, Instructor Zhu Hao reminded after taking a look at the large base that quietly appeared in front of him. Hearing this, everyone who was digesting the information about the demonized beasts hurriedly looked up and looked forward. It was a magnificent city that exuded brilliance and was cast entirely by source steel. Around the city, a heavily guarded beast control base was standing quietly. This is the remains of the first emperor. How come it looks more advanced and powerful than the technological fortress of Zitan City? As the Banai giant elephant approached, Wu Sixi couldn't help but exclaimed. It's normal. Although the first emperor was a legendary figure in the recent ancient times, the technological level of the Qin state at that time was not necessarily worse than that of the current Shanghai alliance, and it might even be stronger. Yu Xianglu looked at the beautiful city in front of her, and a trace of admiration flashed in her eyes. You know, the Shanghai alliance is one of the countries with the strongest technological power among all the countries on Blue Star. The 9-level national defense mecha, Tyrannosaurus, developed by the Shanghai alliance can even compete with immortal semi-divine beasts under the control of legendary strongmen. It can be said to be the strongest mecha in the minds of countless mechanical beastmasters. However, researchers in many countries have stated that the Tyrannosaurus, a national defense mecha developed by the Shanghai alliance, is very similar to the battlefield weapon, Black Dragon Armor, recorded in the history of the Qin state. After all, except for the different shell colors, the armor and skills of the Tyrannosaurus are exactly the same as the Black Dragon Armor. In this regard, Many researchers suspect that the Saint European Union has such a powerful mechanical armor because it has obtained part of the Qin dynasty's legacy. Some researchers even suspect that the king of the Saint European Union is a descendant of the first emperor. Otherwise, if there is no blood connection, there is absolutely no legendary strongman on Blue Star who can bypass the authority of the first emperor and directly control the Black Dragon armor to fight. Yu Xianglu shook his head and extinguished the idea that emerged in his mind. Regardless of whether the rumors about the Saint European Union's national defense mecha are true or false, there is definitely a national defense mecha in the first emperor's ruins that is enough to compete with the immortal demigod. Otherwise, the Beast Taming Corps and Zidane University would not risk selecting a group of potential freshmen to enter the first emperor's ruins. Soon, the Banai giant elephant stopped, and then under the eyes of everyone, a group of fully armed Beast Taming Corps soldiers stopped them. Please show your identity card. The soldier cast his eyes on Instructor Zhu Hao. This is my military ID. Instructor Zhu Hao took out a certificate and a Beastmaster badge from his star ring, then turned around and said to everyone, "You also need to show your ID and cooperate with the inspection." After that, Instructor Zhu Hao landed and communicated with other soldiers about the demonized beast. After hearing this, everyone chose to take out their own IDs, and Chen Wei was at the head of the team. Looking at the soldiers in front of him who were cautious, Chen Wei reached out and handed over his Beastmaster badge. The next second, a soft light shone on Chen Wei's face, and then a mechanical sound rang out, "Ding, confirmed, you can pass, go in." After the registration was completed, the soldier waved his hand to indicate that Chen Wei could enter. After entering, Chen Wei stood aside and waited silently for the team members to complete the review. At this moment, a fierce one-horned white tiger, a domineering flying dragon, and a giant eagle wrapped in lightning suddenly fell from the sky. Chen Wei couldn't help but turn his head to look at the people coming. He saw a heroic female instructor and two sturdy instructors jumping from their pets to the ground. Behind the instructors were several familiar faces to Chen Wei. Tian Xinghu, Gu Ziwei, Guan Kingxin, Su Kun, long time no see, I knew you would come here too, Gu Ziwei's slightly cold voice sounded. Chen Wei looked at the girl in front of him who only had eyes for him, and was slightly stunned. Then a smile appeared on his face. "Hello, you are Chen Wei, whose sister Zhu Yi has always been thinking about. You are quite handsome." The lolly following behind Gu Zuyi greeted, "Hello, I am Gu Yiling, this year's recommended student of Zidane University." Hearing the familiar name Gu Yiling, Chen Wei's eyes flashed with a hint of understanding. Unexpectedly, this guy who looks petite and cute is the top genius who is only inferior to himself in the mouth of senior sister Tan. After exchanging a few words with these familiar faces, Chen Wei and his teammates walked to the entrance of the Qin Shihuang ruins. Looking at the neat and tidy wall full of technology in front of him, Chen Wei couldn't help but turn his head to look at the beast-controlling soldier beside him. "Is this the entrance?" "Yes, just walk in," the soldier said seriously. Feeling the faint sense of danger coming from the wall in front of him, Chen Wei hesitated for a moment, and finally strode over. The next second, the smooth wall instantly deformed and unfolded quickly, revealing a mysterious passage emitting black light inside, and then a bright light flashed and burst out. Chen Wei only felt that his eyes went black, and a faint mechanical sound suddenly came to his ears. "Ding ding, Bone age 19, meets the requirements, and can pass." Then the figures of Chen Wei's team disappeared under the surprised eyes of everyone. P.S. Thank you Huasu's Huanming for the reward of 1,000 starting points. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 318 Artificial Angel. Above a slightly shabby, mechanical street, a steel city suspended in the sky, large enough to block out the sun, was emitting light that illuminated the entire world like the sun. Another human has come in. A girl with a delicate appearance that seemed not to exist in the world looked up at the strange light emanating from the steel city and sighed softly. If there were outsiders present now, they would be able to see at a glance that under the girl's angelic face was a surprising mechanical chest and steel armor. And her sore steel arm with a silver chain was also equipped with a turret full of firepower, which looked very dangerous. As if she was trapped in her memories, the artificial angel, Shadow Secret Guard, stood there for a long time before looking down at the ground under her feet that had gradually become worn out due to the long time. Then the mechanical armor behind her suddenly deformed and opened two dark holes. The next second, the hole behind the shadow secret guard burst into fierce flame, and then she turned into a stream of light and suddenly rushed towards the city that never sleeps in the sky. This is the Qin Shi Huang ruins. Looking at the silvery white, neatly arranged, and the towering hexagonal mechanical building in the center, Wu Sixi's beautiful eyes lit up. Everyone, be careful. After all, this is inside the ruins. There may be some dangerous mechanisms hidden on the road, Yu Xianglu said. The mechanical guardians of the Qin Shi Huang ruins will only protect explorers from being attacked by other explorers and strange beasts. As for the mechanisms inside the ruins, they are certainly not within the protection scope of the guardians. The source power here is very high, but most of the source power belongs to the mechanical system's source power, which is difficult to absorb, and this ruins will suppress all source power except the mechanical system. Feeling the suppression force coming from all directions and the flame in his palm that has weakened by about half, Chen Wei tilted his head to remind his teammates. We'd better save the source power consumption of ourselves and our pets, otherwise it will be difficult to cope with the mechanism assessment inside the ruins. Hearing this, everyone nodded in unison, and their faces became solemn. Walking on the road paved with source steel, Chen Wei looked at the surrounding buildings intertwined with silver houses and towering ancient trees, and his eyes showed curiosity. Is there no way? Looking at the closed door in front of him, Yu Zilman frowned and said. No, this is the first test of the ruins, Yu Xianglu explained. According to the information she learned, there are 4 areas inside the first Emperor's secret realm. Each time the explorer successfully passes the test, he can enter a deeper area. Only the explorer team that finally enters the core area can get the opportunity to enter the Sky City. At this moment, the closed source steel door exuded a light silver light that enveloped Chen Wei and his party. Warning! Warning! Only those who have obtained the King's Order or the He family Jade Seal can enter. Others who trespass will be killed without mercy. Hearing this mechanical prompt sound, everyone looked at each other in surprise. They didn't know what the King's Order was, but they had heard a lot of rumors about the He family Jade Seal, a 9th-level immortal source device that was famous in history. It is said that the imperial edict issued by the first emperor under the He family Jade Seal has unparalleled power. Just one imperial edict issued by the first emperor in the palace can ignore the distance of thousands of miles and suppress all the legendary beasts living in the Great Wall Fortress. And this so-called royal order can be compared with a He family Jade Seal. It must be an extremely powerful treasure. We seem to have skipped the Mecha area and the peripheral area and were directly teleported to the central area. We are only one step away from the core area of the first emperor's ruins. Thinking of the ruins information given by the family, Yu Xianglu smiled, not knowing whether to be happy or sad. That means my king-level mecha is gone. Yu Yang stared at the door in front of him, feeling very subtle. That may not be the case. The core area of the first emperor's ruins is an area that the Legion has never developed and reached. Maybe there are overlord mechas or warships in it. Yu Xianglu shook his head. None of this matters. What matters is where we can find the Order of Kingship. Wu Yaojin turned around and looked at the mechanical buildings behind him. Is there a possibility that the Order of Kingship exists in these magnificent buildings full of technology? Since we are looking for something, let's split into 2 teams to search here. Xianglu, Zilman and I will form a team, and Yu Yang, Yuan Sixi, Yaojin and Xiling will form a team to see if there is anything to gain. Seeing that everyone's eyes were on him, Chen Wei smiled and suggested. During the search, everyone will gather every half an hour to communicate with each other about information. If there are any objections during the search, you can directly raise them, Chen Wei continued. No problem, everyone nodded. Next, seeing that the team members agreed unanimously, Chen Wei took Yu Xianglu and Yu Zilman to the tall building on the right, whose top had collapsed. It was obvious that it had experienced many battles, causing the source steel to interweave and reveal the internal layout. Kei Ling, cheer up and use your telekinesis to detect you if there are any treasures worth noting nearby. Chen Wei touched her head with his fingers. Yi, Greek letter Omega, I'm best at treasure hunting. As soon as she heard about the treasure hunting game, Kei Ling's eyes flashed with a dazzling golden light. For something like luck, wouldn't it be safer to let Yutong do it? Looking at Kei Ling flying up and down in front of him, completely immersed in the game, Chen Wei's expression froze, and he summoned Yutong directly. Meow, After stroking the noble and honest cat in his arms, Chen Wei decided to let the two of them roll up. Whoever finds the royal order first will be rewarded with an extra 2 hours of full body massage today and tomorrow. Meow, yee, as the saying goes, there must be a brave man under a big reward. As soon as Chen Wei said this, Kailing and Yutong immediately looked at each other, and it seemed as if a lightning bolt was colliding fiercely where their eyes intersected. Hearing this, Yu Zilman and Yu Xianglu on the side also looked curiously at the two pets who suddenly became full of fighting spirit, and couldn't help blinking their cute big eyes. Is the reward of full body massage so attractive to pets? Should I learn this too? Maybe this is the captain's secret to training pets. You too should save your energy. Don't be too exaggerated. Seeing the terrifying aura bursting out from the two pets, Chen Wei subconsciously held his forehead with his hand. However, under this majestic aura, a hoarse mechanical sound suddenly sounded from the silver high-rise building next to him. Enemy detected. Start combat mode. Boom. With a piercing explosion, a huge mechanical beast fell from the sky from the window of the high-rise building with thick smoke, aiming directly at the two pets who were venting their aura. Chapter 319, Bloodline of the First Emperor. At this time, in the surprised eyes of Chen Wei and the other two, a 5-meter-long mechanical beast with forked steel wings, a streamlined head, and a giant cannon protruding from its open throat, like a pterosaur, was charging at a speed faster than the speed of sound. Name of pet, mechanical pterosaur. Attributes of pet, mechanical, wind, racial level, top elite, strength level, 4th order lower, racial skills, intelligent learning, pterosaur armor, sniper wind cannon, mechanical scanning. Introduction to pet. As a mechanical series of war beasts made by the Qin army, the mechanical pterosaur has super long-range reconnaissance and attack capabilities. Get out of the way, you're in the way. Kailing and Yutong, who were on the treasure hunt, didn't even look at the mechanical pterosaur. Then, a sharp cold breath and a hot fire column attacked together to instantly wrap up the incoming mechanical pterosaur. Boom! The explosion power of the ice and fire bombed the pterosaur, which was just majestic, into a pile of broken copper and iron at this moment. Bang! 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 Chen Wei tapped the sore steel wings that fell at his feet. Mechanical pets can really be said to be the combat power accumulated by a large amount of resources. Apart from anything else, just the sore steel wings with amazing defense in front of him can be sold by pound, and it can sell for at least 1 or 2 million star coins. How is it? Do you have any clues? Putting away the spoils, Chen Wei tilted his head and asked. No, me, can't find it. Seeing the two pets shaking their heads, Chen Wei couldn't help but smile slightly. Since we can't find it, let's change places. At the same time, Yu Yang and his group who were exploring on the other side also ended the sudden battle. What the hell is this? We almost flipped over. Yu Yang punched the mechanical soldier in front of him who had already stopped moving, and cursed in a low voice. Seeing Yu Yang, whose face was a little pale, Wu Yaojin glanced at the huge high-rise buildings around him and suggested, the source power in the pet's body has been consumed by more than half. Let's rest here for a while to avoid encountering another difficult mechanical soldier. What is that? Ding Xiling asked, looking at a strange beast that suddenly appeared in the distance, which was wrapped in red lightning and looked like a real dragon. What is that? There's nothing there. Don't be kidding. Wu Yaojin looked at the magnificent buildings in the distance, and a trace of panic flashed in his eyes. What did you see? Seeing that the shock on Ding Xiling's face did not seem to be fake, Yu Yang asked hurriedly. Can't you see it? I saw a real black dragon, and it seems to be looking at me. Ding Xiling swallowed her saliva, giving people the feeling that she was about to cry. Hearing this, the other three people's faces suddenly froze. After they looked at each other, Yu Yang was the first to ask, besides looking at you, did it do anything else? No, it's still standing there. The terrified Ding Xiling simply closed her eyes. For some reason, the more she looked at the black real dragon, the more she had a premonition of imminent death. Remember its location. Let's go and inform the captain now. For the safety of the team, Yu Yang thought about it and finally decided to find the captain first. You mean Xiling encountered a real dragon? Chen Wei rubbed his chin. Then stared at the direction pointed out by Yu Yang and Ding Xiling in a daze. Something is wrong. If there is a real dragon living here, how could his dragon-controlling power not fluctuate at all? It's useless to just guess here. Why don't we go over and investigate? Chen Wei said with interest. Ding Xiling was the first to raise her hand to express her objection. Captain, that's a real dragon. A terrifying real dragon that even epic masters may not be able to match. What's the difference between us going there now and committing suicide? Hearing Ding Xiling's slightly exaggerated words, Chen Wei shook his head and said with a smile, "Don't forget the Han Liu Qilin we met in Yongli Mountains. Wasn't it repelled by me in the end?" Hearing this, Ding Xiling couldn't help but tremble, and whispered, "This is different. The Han Liu Qilin is only level 5, and it can't compare with the real dragon I saw at all. Then can you be sure that what you saw was a real dragon and not an illusion?" Chen Wei raised his eyebrows and said in a relaxed tone. This, after being asked by the captain, Ding Xiling was really unsure whether she saw an illusion for a moment. "How about splitting up into 2 groups? Those who want to go with me raise their hands, and those who don't want to go can stay here for the time being." Chen Wei smiled slightly. Although he did not see the so-called guardian after entering the ruins, according to the information given by senior sister Tan, all the mechanical pets in the Qin Shi Huang ruins seem to have been implanted with the order of not killing humans. In this way, even if there is no guardian to protect him during this ruins adventure, if he encounters a mechanical pet that he cannot defeat, he will only get injured at most, which is completely within Chen Wei's risk tolerance range. Don't worry, up to now, the death rate of explorers from the beast taming corps who have entered the Qin Shi Huang ruins is 0, which means that before we enter the core area that no one has ever set foot in, we are all safe, Yu Xianglu said, and then raised her right hand. Seeing the teammates around her raise their right hands one after another after Yu Xianglu's words, Ding Xiling's face was bitter, and finally she raised her arm hesitantly. There was no way, rather than staying here alone, she would rather go die with the team members. Since everyone agrees, let's hurry up. As soon as the voice fell, Chen Wei put his hands in his pockets and walked in front first. "It's here, right?" Looking at the huge tower in front of him that looked like it was made of crystal, Chen Wei narrowed his eyes slightly. Unlike before, standing here, he could clearly feel that there was something inside the tall tower in front of him that made his dragon-controlling power fluctuate. But what surprised him was that the vibration in his mind was extremely slight, not even as strong as the shock he felt when he first encountered the coal dragon. In other words, even if there was a real dragon living in this tower, its strength would not be that strong. Kaz, as Chen Wei tentatively pulled down the lever at the entrance of the tower, a blue and orange lightning bolt suddenly fell from the top of the tower to the ground, then passed through the defense skills that the pets had hastily set up, and instantly enveloped all the beast masters present. The first Emperor's bloodline certification has passed. The Tower of Domination and Truth is opened, and the inheritance ceremony of the ruler has officially begun. Under Chen Wei's unexpected gaze, Ding Xiling, who had always been afraid of death, was like a goddess, and her temperament was respectful as she slowly ascended through the colorful light pillars that fell from the sky. At the same time, 6 mysterious black pillars also wrapped and teleported him and his teammates around him. Chapter 320, Distress Signal. Yongli Island Beast Taming Base. Hazuheo sent Chen Wei's team into the number 1 Qin Shi Huang ruins according to the planned schedule. Yun Xiangwen took a sip of tea and said, "Yes, Chief," the female secretary in work uniform responded. Bang, bang, bang. At this moment, there was a knock on the office door. Yun Xiangwen frowned and said in a deep voice, "Come in." The door opened, and a handsome and burly man hurried into the office. "Report to the chief, the Qin Wang team has not entered the core area of the ruins, and the number 1 Qin Shi Huang ruins has begun to move. According to the signs inside the ruins, the research department seriously suspects that the inheritance ceremony of the Qin Shi Huang ruins is in progress, and the Qin dynasty's national defense mecha is very likely to be born ahead of time because of this." The big man looked a little cautious. "So that's it. It seems that a group of demonized beasts did not lie. Ding Xiling is really the bloodline left by Qin Shi Huang, and the blood concentration is not low." Hearing this, Yun Xiangwen frowned. He pondered for a while and said, "Let the Qin Wang team speed up the cracking of the ruins and try to complete the blood baptism of the national mecha before Ding Xiling sacrifices herself. In the case of emergency, I allow the Qin Wang team to activate the Patriot Overlord mecha in the ruins." "Understood, Chief," the big man nodded. Looking at the backs of his men leaving in a hurry, Yun Xiangwen's eyes revealed a hint of worry. "I hope that little girl doesn't do stupid things and run to die foolishly. The probability of that is too low." At this time, the female secretary who knew the information about the ruins of the first emperor looked at her superior in surprise. She had an inexplicable premonition that at this time, Lieutenant General Yun, her superior, seemed to be playing a big game of chess. On the other side, when Chen Wei opened his eyes, the first thing that caught his eye was a room full of metal and a simulated robot with an exquisite appearance like an angel. He subconsciously activated the delusion-breaking spirit eyes. Pet name, Royal Shadow Guard. Unique, pet attributes, mechanical, light, racial level, epic overlord, strength level, 7th order upper, racial skills, intelligent learning, combat module, anti-source defense system, laser splitting cannon, fusion reactor. Pet introduction. As the most outstanding peak creation in the Shadow Guard series of armor made by the Qin Army, the Royal Shadow Guard has a terrifying combat capability comparable to that of thousands of troops. What a terrifying Shadow Guard! Looking at the beautiful Shadow Guard in front of him, Chen Wei couldn't help swallowing his throat. Even if he now has Bai Luo to protect him, he dare not say that he can defeat this terrifying mechanical guard. As a knight who safely escorts the blood of the first emperor into the ruins, you can get a generous reward. The Shadow Guard didn't care about Chen Wei's peeping, and his voice was full of magnetism when he spoke. The blood of the first emperor? Reward? Chen Wei was slightly stunned, and thinking of the abnormality that happened after Ding Xiling entered, he couldn't help but take a breath. I would like to ask, is Ding Xiling a princess of the Qin dynasty? In other words, a descendant of Qin Shi Huang? Chen Wei asked cautiously. Shadow Guard nodded while standing there. Yes. Because you brought the princess into the ruins of Qin Shi Huang, you can choose any reward here. As Shadow Guard finished speaking, a virtual screen filled with a lot of information instantly appeared in front of Chen Wei. W211 series armor of diamond exoskeleton, a 7th level epic source device, which can provide a Beastmaster with strong defense and mobility after wearing it, and can also be used as a weapon for the Gundam. Mechanical source fusion reactor, a 7th level epic source device, which can be installed inside the Overlord Mecha or epic battleship to provide almost unlimited power and mechanical source power. Shadow Guard Combat Mecha, a 7th level epic mechanical soldier. Good at protection and assassination type battles, with extremely strong single soldier combat capabilities. Even a 7th level Overlord Beast can contend, and will completely obey the Master's orders. Destroyer Overlord Mecha, a 7th order epic mechanical war pet with extremely high intelligence and autonomous combat capabilities. It can fight 1 against 100 on the battlefield, and can become stronger as the Beastmaster's strength increases. Note, only Beastmasters above the King level can control the Destroyer. Laser splitting cannon, a 7th order epic source device. The terrifying splitting laser that can penetrate everything can destroy a fully armed fortress in an instant or annihilate a 7th order Overlord Beast if the laser hits it completely. Chen Wei looked at the extremely generous rewards on the screen, and his pupils suddenly shrank. These treasures are so tempting. No matter which treasure he gets, his strength will be greatly increased. Do my teammates also get such rewards? Chen Wei looked at the Shadow Secret Guard in front of him with some curiosity. If everyone has this kind of reward, then the first emperor is really rich and inhumane. Of course not. As the noble knight designated by the princess, only you are eligible to choose the reward. The rest of the knights can only get a standard king mecha at most. Shadow Secret Guard's eyes flashed red, and his voice was calm. It turns out that this reward is only mine. I didn't expect Ziling to agree with me as the captain so much. It seems that I have to treat her better in the future. Thinking that these were all special gifts from Ding Ziling, Chen Wei's mouth corners slightly raised, and then he moved back and forth on the big screen in front of him with a burning gaze. Can I only choose one? After hesitating for a moment, Chen Wei asked with some entanglement. Yes, only one. Shadow Secret Guard stood quietly in place, waiting for Chen Wei to make a choice. Shadow Secret Guard Combat Mecha, can I choose you directly? Chen Wei looked at her expectantly and said. As a royal level Shadow Secret Guard, she not only carries a laser splitter, but also a source force fusion reactor. This is equivalent to a buy one get two free opportunity. Chen Wei certainly won't miss it. Sorry, the Imperial Shadow Guard is not on this reward list. Zzz. Seeing that the Shadow Guard seemed to have fallen into malfunction state when he was only halfway through his words, and bursts of strong electric light burst out from his body, Chen Wei could not help but be slightly startled. What the hell? This is the most outstanding peak creation of the Qin Army, and it breaks down so easily. This combat mecha is too bad. In Chen Wei's surprised eyes, the Shadow Guard, who was bursting with terrifying pressure all over his body, had red light flashing wildly in his eyes, and then made a familiar voice. Save me. Captain. Captain, save me. Suddenly hearing Ding Ziling's cry for help with the help of the Shadow Guard, Chen Wei frowned, and suddenly had an ominous premonition in his heart. What's going on? Ding Ziling has the blood of the first emperor. Logically, she should be the safest person in the ruins. Why is she asking him for help now? Chapter 321, Mysterious Bird Divine Armor. Ziling, can you hear my voice? Chen Wei asked hurriedly. I can hear it, Captain. Come to Sky City to save me. The National Defense Mecha here, Zhuannai Shenjia, wants to kill me, Shadow Secret Guard said with surprise. Hearing Ding Ziling's full voice, Chen Wei raised his eyebrows, always feeling that there was something else hidden. If the 9th level National Defense Mecha, Zhuannai Shenjia, in the ruins of the first emperor really wanted to kill Ding Ziling, it would be easier than blowing a breath, so how could she be alive and kicking and talking to herself? How do you want me to help you? Chen Wei asked tentatively. If Ding Ziling dared to ask him to fight against the Zhuannai Shenjia, he would dare to run away at the first time. What a joke. The 9th level National Defense Mecha is not something that a beastmaster like him, who is only 4th level on the Source Star, can challenge. It can be said that the two are not at the same level at all. What's the difference between this and asking him to die? A Legion squad that entered the core area of the ruins holds the He family Jade Seal. As long as you, the captain, can lead them through the checkpoints in the core area and come to the Sky City, or if you, the captain, come to the Sky City with the He family Jade Seal, I have a great chance of being rescued, Ding Ziling said quickly. Hearing that he didn't have to fight with a state-guarding mecha, Chen Wei couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. I understand, but without the He family Jade Seal to open the door, I can't enter the core area by myself. I can modify part of the Shadow Secret Guard's authority and let her take you to find the king's order. There's not much time left. If you haven't come to the Sky City with the He family Jade Seal within 10 days, then you can directly help me collect a body. At this time, as Ding Ziling's slightly crying words fell, the Shadow Secret Guard in front of Chen Wei regained his mature and magnetic voice. Please choose your reward. Damn, what on earth did Ziling encounter? Chen Wei, with mixed feelings, clenched his fists. He tilted his head and looked at the Shadow Secret Guard in front of him with a calm face, but his heart was full of tension. Save her or not, Chen Wei was in a dilemma, not paying attention to the generous reward mentioned by the Shadow Secret Guard. After all, Ding Ziling was just a teammate he had just met not long ago. Was it necessary for him to risk his life to save her? As long as he survived and developed, he would at least be a legendary strong man who could enjoy 1,000 years of life in the future. Is it worth it? It's not worth it at all. Chen Wei was now trying to convince himself of his emotions with all the known dangers and the price he had to pay to save people. Oh Cap, if you want to go, I'll go with you. Kailing patted the Beastmaster's wrist with her tail, looking unconcerned. Me too. Yutong looked up at Chen Wei, her face full of smiles. I was confused. It seems that you are the ones who understand my thoughts best than I do myself. Seeing this, Chen Wei was slightly stunned, and then a bitter smile appeared on his face. If it weren't for his previous suggestion, Ding Ziling might not have been in danger of death at this moment, and he simply couldn't sit back and watch. I choose you, the Shadow Guard, as a reward. After thinking for a while, Chen Wei tried again. The choice is invalid. At this point, the Shadow Guard's eyes flashed red, and then the action paused slightly. The reward has been confirmed. The Royal Shadow Guard is at your service. As the Shadow Guard finished speaking, she knelt down directly, and her white right hand suddenly transformed into a green gem like an emerald. Master, please input source power and mental power to complete the contract. Chen Wei, who remained vigilant, activated the delusion-breaking spirit eye without hesitation. Heart of Mecha Control, the control core gem of the Royal Shadow Guard. The Beastmaster who irrigates source power and mental power into this gem will obtain the highest authority of this Shadow Guard. After recognizing the Master, the Shadow Guard can block other control signals under the Master's command. It doesn't seem to be a trap. Chen Wei stretched out his right hand to grab the Heart of Mecha Control, and then input source power to establish a link. After recognizing the Master, Chen Wei looked at the obedient Shadow Guard in front of him, and a sense of unreality rose in his heart. How powerful is the mechanical technology of the first Emperor? It can allow a Beastmaster of the 4th level Source Star to perfectly control a hegemon mecha with the strength of the 7th level upper level, and it does not require any source power consumption. No wonder the Qin Emperor was able to sweep across the 7 kingdoms and end the era of alien beasts ruling humans in the recent ancient times. Such unimaginable mechanical soldiers are too outrageous. After a brief surprise, Chen Wei issued the first order. Take me to find the order of the kingship. Understood, master. In a place where Chen Wei could not see, the shadow guard with his head down flashed a trace of human struggle in his eyes, and finally disappeared. Just call me Chen Wei in the future. At this time, Chen Wei, who was still a little uncomfortable, reminded. Understood, Lord Chen Wei, the shadow guard responded calmly. On the other side, the Sky City is very far from the ground. In a blood pool that keeps spewing out majestic source power, a girl with an ordinary chest, who looks more like a man, is taking a bath to strengthen her body, and in front of her is a virtual screen that has lost contact signal. As the blood of the first emperor, how can you be so cowardly? He, a 4th level beast master, can't save you. The only person you can rely on is yourself. Glancing at Ding Xiling, who had tears on her face and was always looking at the big screen, even a little absent-minded, the blackbird said in a dissatisfied tone. Damn, if it weren't for the fact that the blood of the first emperor in the body of another beast master who entered the ruins was too low, it would not have chosen this girl whose hair had not even grown fully. I don't care, anyway, I'm not going to die. Ding Xiling glared at the blackbird fiercely. If Ice could kill, she would want to kill this blackbird now. What a bullshit blackbird. In Ding Xiling's eyes at this time, this bird pet with a body size of only about half a meter, 4 wings on its body, a slender neck, black feathers all over its body, a crown feather on its head like a flame, and 3 slender tail feathers behind its tail is completely a death-urging god. I have fulfilled our agreement, and now it's your turn to fulfill your obligations. The blackbird cast its sharp eyes at Ding Xiling. I understand. It's just the Zuinia Ozhaoxianlu. I'll practice it. Ding Xiling closed her eyes and followed the Zuinia Ozhaoxianlu's practice method. She seemed to have turned into a black hole and frantically absorbed the vast source of power in the blood pool. Come on, Captain. Only you can save me. In order to buy more time, Ding Xiling, who was wailing in her heart, even secretly reduced the efficiency of Zuinia Ozhaoxianlu in refining source power. However, Zuinia, who witnessed all this, had no objection at all. There was a hint of nostalgia in his eyes when he looked at Ding Xiling. It's really like it. P.S. Thanks to the book friend 160,404,163,225,439 for the reward of 100 starting coins. Chapter 322 Laser Splitting Cannon. The central area of the Qin Shi Huang ruins. A shadow guard who looked like an ordinary robot was speeding in the air at high speed, and behind her there was an elegant dragon with extraordinary momentum following closely. Is the king's order nearby? Chen Wei asked, looking down at the metal bamboo forest below. Yes, according to the information provided by the system, the king's order is in the hands of the mechanical war bear in the bamboo grove, the shadow guard replied. This is a bit difficult. There are too many mechanical war bears here. Chen Wei looked at the huge mechanical war bears playing and frolicking in the bamboo forest, and his face condensed slightly. Shadow Guard, are there any easy-to-identify features of the King's Order? The King's Order is an identity certificate issued by the Qin Emperor to the princes and princesses. It is a golden token. The King's Order in the bamboo grove was left by Prince Wu Hai. It has the authority to command some mechanical soldiers. Only the strongest mechanical war bear should be able to hold it, the Shadow Guard said. The strongest one. Chen Wei glanced at Zhu Wan, and finally his eyes fell on a future war bear with the golden eyes, wearing a technological armor, and a golden token on his chest. It looked very imposing. After using the delusion-breaking spirit eye to identify it, a stream of information flooded into Chen Wei's mind. Name of pet, mechanical war bear, pet attribute, mechanical, gold, racial level, transcendent commander, strength level, 5th order middle, racial skills, advanced intelligence, future war kai, sharp gold claw, wild gold roar 5th order middle. It seems that we can test the combat power of the Shadow Secret Guard a little bit. Thinking of this, Chen Wei turned his head and ordered the Shadow Secret Guard in front of him, directly kill the golden-eyed mechanical war bear in front. The Shadow Secret Guard's eyes flashed red, but he did not take any action. Sorry, due to the system permission settings, the Shadow Secret Guard cannot actively attack the mechanical life in the ruins. Hearing this, Chen Wei looked at the Shadow Secret Guard in surprise. He thought he had found a cheat that could help him pass the level quickly, But he didn't expect that this cheat was actually disabled by the ruins. What if the mechanical life attacks me? Chen Wei was a little speechless. No way, if the Shadow Guard obtained through rewards cannot be used, then what is the difference between the rewards received and those of white-collar workers? The Shadow Guard will protect the master from any harm. A red light flashed in her eyes. Unfortunately, the Shadow Guard can only be a bodyguard. It seems that Kai Ling and Yu Tong have to take action, but before that, we have to think of a strategy first. Chen Wei looked at the 60 mechanical war bears in the distance and fell into deep thought. If 65th level middle-level mechanical war bears gathered together to fight, even the 6th level beasts could be repelled for a short time, not to mention Kai Ling and Yu Tong, who are only upper 3rd level. Based on the current strength comparison, help me deduce a way to safely obtain the king's order. 5 minutes later, Chen Wei, who was sitting on Kai Ling's back and couldn't think of a good way, had to ask the Shadow Guard who was on standby. Calculating, please wait. As soon as the words fell, the Shadow Guard fell into silence. Really? Seeing this, Chen Wei couldn't help but exclaimed. Calculation completed. The mechanical war bear has extremely strong attack and defense capabilities, and can also absorb attributes to enhance its combat power in battle. If you choose to attack head-on, the probability of getting the king's order is 3.45%. Hearing this, Chen Wei couldn't help but roll his eyes at the Shadow Guard. Directly launch a head-on attack on 65th level war pets? I'm afraid only a beast master with a problem in his brain would do such a crazy thing. The blood of ancient iron-eating beasts is hidden in the bodies of mechanical war bears, so they also have the habit of devouring minerals such as source iron and source steel. If Lord Chen Wei uses source steel as bait to split the group of mechanical war bears and defeat them one by one, the probability of obtaining the king's order is 33.33%. My left-hand weapon, laser splitting cannon, can emit a terrifying splitting laser that penetrates everything. If it is given to Lord Chen Wei to use, although the power will be reduced by 80%, it can still completely destroy the group of mechanical war bears below in an instant, and the probability of obtaining the king's order is 100%. Hearing the plain and calm words of Shadow Secret Guard, Chen Wei's eyes quickly focused on her source steel armed turret with a silver chain. Give me your laser splitting cannon. Hearing this, Shadow Secret Guard's left arm quickly deformed and disassembled, and soon a small silver turret with folds of brilliance appeared on Kai Ling's broad back. How to use it? Chen Wei looked at the integrated turret in front of him. He had no idea where to start, so he turned his head to look at the Shadow Guard who had temporarily lost his left hand. Master Chen Wei, put your palm on it, and you can fire the laser with a thought, Shadow Guard explained. Then Chen Wei placed his palm on the back of the turret under the curious gaze of the two pets. The cold touch made people feel like touching cold jade. Will the king's order be damaged by the laser? To be cautious, Chen Wei asked again. No, only power above legend can affect the king's order. Shadow Guard shook his head. I see. Goodbye, little bears. As Chen Wei finished speaking, the laser splitter that his palm was close to suddenly burst into dazzling brilliance, and mysterious and magnificent golden light patterns appeared on the surface of the turret. At this moment, Chen Wei felt his heart skip a beat, and the surging mechanical source power in the ruins seemed to have found its home and gathered crazily at the muzzle of the laser splitter. The next second, a terrifying aura that even the dominant beasts would be deeply afraid of slowly emanated from the muzzle of the split cannon. This terrifying momentum even caused the group of mechanical war bears below to flee in panic. As Chen Wei moved his mind, the laser split cannon that had accumulated power suddenly burst out a dazzling beam of light and rushed towards Zuwan. In the eyes of the stunned mechanical war bears, the bright beam of light suddenly split into countless equally thick and dangerous beams of light in midair, and finally fell like a rainstorm. Roar! The mechanical war bears, unwilling to be slaughtered, roared in unison, and then burst into golden giant bear phantom that soared into the sky under Chen Wei's surprised eyes. Is this beast control cooperation? No, this is mechanical resonance. Seeing that the golden-eyed war bear in the lead had, with the help of many mechanical war bears, its aura soared from the middle of the 5th level to the lower of the 6th level, and even its height increased to 15 meters, a trace of regret flashed in Chen Wei's eyes. Unfortunately, in front of the terrifyingly powerful laser splitter cannon, there is no difference between the 5th and 6th levels. The next moment, the overwhelming beam of light enveloped Zuwan and even the vast land that Chen Wei saw in the blink of an eye. Chapter 323 Black Armor Dragon. The earth-shaking and terrifying aftermath swept a large amount of smoke and dust in all directions. Even though Chen Wei was flying high in the sky on the K-Ling, he could still feel the crisis of death. At this time, K-Ling looked at the incoming hot wind, her pupils suddenly shrank, and her whole body burst into endless coldness. A thick frost instantly enveloped her and the Beastmaster. Anti-source defense shield. Sensing the danger, the Shadow Secret Guard stretched out one hand, and an invisible protective force immediately guarded Chen Wei behind him. Perhaps an hour had passed, or perhaps a whole day had passed. When the dazzling white light that obscured Chen Wei's vision disappeared, he opened his eyes and saw only a bottomless and terrifying black hole, crystallized soil, and billowing hot air emitted by high temperature. This is the laser splitter that can kill the 7th level Overlord Beast. Looking at the terrifying scene in front of him where everything was evaporated into nothingness, Chen Wei couldn't help but lick his lips excitedly. You know, the power of the laser splitter used by him will be reduced by 80%. It is conceivable how terrifying the power of the laser splitter released by the 7th level Shadow Secret Guard is. Help me take out the king's order. Chen Wei turned his head and glanced at the Shadow Secret Guard, indicating that she should go into the bottomless pit with almost no edge on the ground to search. Upon hearing this, the Shadow Secret Guard's expression did not change at all. The launcher on her back spewed out a strong flame, and then took her into the pit at a high speed. Lord Chen Wei, this is the king's order. The Shadow Secret Guard handed over a golden badge token with both hands. On the back of this token, there was also a vivid black bird engraved, as if it was about to fly out. Very good, thank you for your hard work. After taking over the king's order, Chen Wei returned the high-temperature laser splitter in his hand to the Shadow Secret Guard. Can this laser cannon be used multiple times? Thinking of the infinite power that surged out of his body when he controlled the laser cannon, Chen Wei couldn't help but ask. Seeing Chen Wei staring at his left hand, Shadow Guard said calmly, with my current strength, I can only use the laser splitter 3 times a day at most. That's enough. The power of the laser splitter can be my trump card. Chen Wei showed an unconcealable smile on his face, and then he focused his attention on the gold medal in his palm, Order of Kingship, a symbol of kingship. Those who do not have the blood of the first emperor in their bodies cannot use it. Perhaps it can be used to open some hidden mechanisms. Now that the token is in hand, then we should go to the core area next. Chen Wei turned his head and looked at the other side far away. There were 5th order middle-level mechanical war bears in this central area alone. The danger level of the core area can be imagined. For safety reasons, he did not plan to reunite with a team for the time being and wanted to go to the core area alone. On the other side, Qin Ziwen, with thick eyebrows, a stern expression, and an upright figure, looked at the closed door in front of him, and a glimmer of determination flashed in his eyes. Are you ready? He tilted his head to look at the 3 men and 3 women behind him. They were his comrades who he could trust with his life. I have memorized the analysis and combat data of the Black Armor Dragon. Ziwen, are you sure this time? The short-haired boy showed some tension on his dark face. There are still 3 months to go and another year. In order to complete the orders of the superiors, kill the demonized weird things in the ruins of the first emperor as soon as possible, and gradually control the national defense mecha in the ruins, their chances of failure are already few. Don't worry, there is no need to sacrifice blood, I will definitely win this time. Qin Ziwen's tone was very firm. In the past year, he has fought with a Black Armor Dragon for a total of 32 times and lost 32 times, but despite this, he is still sure that today is the day he will ascend to the Sky City. This is the last 2 chances given to us by Chief Yoon. Ziwen, don't be careless, that Black Armor Dragon is really ridiculously strong, said a girl wearing black armor on her upper body and a pair of straight and well-proportioned long legs. As the captain of the Qin Wang team, and the person who knows Qin Ziwen's strength best, to be honest, it is hard for her to imagine that Qin Ziwen can defeat the invincible Black Dragon. Even though Qin Ziwen's Source Star and Pet Beast have been promoted to the 4th level due to the chief's investment, she still feels that there is little hope. I understand, but I won't fail again. As soon as the voice fell, Qin Ziwen took out a He family jade seal engraved with "Receive the mandate from heaven, longevity and prosperity from the star ring," and then poured all the source power in his body into it. Buzz buzz buzz. The next moment, under the attention of the Qin Wang team, the He family jade seal made a light sound, and then floated in the air and burst out with a strong dragon power. Ding! The breath of the He family jade seal is detected, and the suppression gate is officially opened. A majestic mechanical sound rang out. As the door gradually opened, A strong light bursting out from the gap between the doors enveloped all members of the Chen Wei team. Boom, boom, the sky was dark, as if the thunder god was angry. The black lightning exploded wildly in the clouds and mist, and finally turned into a black lightning column and hit the earth under the solemn gaze of everyone. Crash, the ground was full of broken stones, and then the black light dissipated. A powerful black dragon with a body that covered the sky and earth, red eyes, and a blackbird phantom rune on its forehead suddenly descended. Two thick and sharp dragon horns protruded from the edge of its head, and a pair of huge alloy wings spread out behind it. The mechanical limbs were slender and strong, and the high-end and defensive high-tech armor covered its abdomen. On its chest was a red source force reaction furnace, and on the top of its slender and domineering tail was a circle of scimitar-like sharp thorns, which exuded a breathtaking breath in the dim environment. Even though it was not the first time to see the appearance of the Black Dragon, one or two Beastmasters in the Chen Wei team could not help swallowing their throats. You again. No matter how many times they try, the weak are always weak, and the weak can never defeat me. The Black Dragon looked at Chen Wei with contempt. As the gatekeeper dragon of the Sky City, its strength is definitely not something that a Beastmaster under the age of 20 can resist. If it weren't for the core system's regulations that prohibit killing humans, it would have wiped out this group of annoying ants in front of it. Faced with the contempt of the Black Dragon, Chen Wei was not angry. He just tapped his fingertips, and the top-level star ring that ordinary people could not buy with a fortune suddenly burst out an unprecedented white rune array in front of him. And with the appearance of the white rune array, a four-winged dragon with a silver-white body raised its head and roared, and the shock wave that split the rocks and pierced the clouds suddenly swept all around. P.S. Thank you for the 100 starting coins for Jingting's heartache reward. Chapter 324 Legendary Realm. Meteor Silver Dragon, use Star Stream Erosion. Chen Wei narrowed his eyes as he looked at the Black Dragon and first commanded his pet to attack. As a loser under the Black Dragon, he knew very well how powerful the Black Dragon was. You know, the 9th level national defense mecha of the Qin dynasty, Black Dragon Armor, is a terrifying mecha that can compete with the immortal demigod. As a mecha of the same series as the Black Dragon Armor, although its race level has not reached the immortal demigod, it has only reached the pinnacle of the legendary emperor, but it is still not a powerful existence that ordinary legendary strongmen can challenge. However, in the gatekeeping assessment of the first emperor's ruins, the Black Dragon will take the initiative to suppress its strength to the 3rd level upper position, leaving the explorers with almost slim hope of winning. No matter what, I believe that Meteor Silver Dragon and I can create a miracle. Chen Wei's eyes showed a firm belief. According to the historical records of the East China Kingdom, the only Beastmaster who defeated the 3rd level upper legendary race beast at the age of 19 has been the Qin Emperor since ancient times. Yes, that's right. What Chen Wei wants now is to defeat the almost impossible to fail Black Dragon in front of him, so as to emulate his ancestor Emperor Qin and create a miraculous feat. At this moment, as if sensing the faith in the Beastmaster's heart, the Meteor Silver Dragon, which had been staring at its opponent with its head held high, had its eyes burning like fire, and then opened its hideous and terrifying mouth and spit out a torrent of energy that was like the brilliance of stars. Boom! The exploding majestic galaxy source power rushed towards the Black Dragon at lightning speed with a deafening roar. Too boring. Looking at the attack from the Meteor Silver Dragon in front of him, the Black Dragon's eyes flashed with an imperceptible black light. Data scan, pet name, Meteor Silver Dragon, pet attributes, Galaxy, Dragon, racial level, Brilliant King, strength level, 4th order lower, racial skills, Starry Day, Star Stream Eclipse, Polar Night Starlight, 4-winged Dragon Blade, Meteor Destruction, pet introduction. As a dragon pet of both star and dragon, the dragon scales on the surface of the Meteor Silver Dragon will be filled with star power and absorb the star power in the universe. Every Meteor Silver Dragon has the dream of rushing into the sky, passing through the source layer, and reaching the vast universe since birth. You want to defeat me after only 1 level of strength improvement? How ridiculous. The gap between the king race and the emperor race cannot be made up by this little strength. It seems that the past playfulness has given you too much confidence. In Chen Wei's expected gaze, the black-armored Black Dragon did not dodge, but quietly hovered in the sky and looked at the breath coming. Boom! With a complete outbreak of the star stream erosion, a wave of energy completely submerged the Black Dragon. The terrifying breath power even caused the space where the black dragon was located to begin to twist and tear. As the smoke and dust dissipated, Chen Wei looked at the black dragon in the distance, unscathed, and frowned tightly, with complicated emotions in his heart. It seems that it still doesn't work. In addition to the cooperation of beast control and the coordination of fetters, what methods did the ancestor first emperor use to deal with the legendary body and legendary domain that the legendary emperor race was born with? The so-called legendary body is the ability that the beast master and the alien beast automatically comprehend after entering the 8th level legend. This ability allows the beast master or the alien beast to fully master or even obtain the inspiration of their own source power, and can allow the body to actively resist all alien source power that does not belong to itself, so that the body can obtain extremely strong source power defense capabilities and greatly enhance the upper limit of the life of the physical body. This is also the reason why the legendary strong can enjoy 1,000 years of life. The legendary domain is the source power instantiation of the legendary body of the 8th level Emperor Alien Beast, also known as the Emperor Domain. When the Emperor Beast activates the legendary domain, all the source power except the user will be restricted inside the domain, and even all the skills released by the opponent will be invalidated after entering the domain. This also makes the 7th level Overlord Beast in nature absolutely unable to fight against the 8th level Emperor Beast, because the 7th level Overlord cannot cause any damage to the 8th level Emperor. Of course, the cooperation and bond coordination between the Beast Master and the pet can break the partial invalidation of the legendary domain, which also gives the epic Beast Master a slim chance of winning against the Emperor Beast in a cross-level battle. In order to increase the probability of Meteor Silver Dragon's victory this time, Chen Wei also specially let Meteor Silver Dragon take the 7th level top-grade elixir Fulongdan, a dragon elixir made from the blood of Zhaoyang Meteorite Dragon, a descendant of the Meteorite Tyrant Dragon bloodline. After being taken by a dragon attribute pet, it can increase the damage of all skills to dragon-type pets by 200%, and the damage caused by the skills can also ignore the defense of dragon scales. Start the beast control cooperation. Seeing this, Chen Wei, the captain of the Chen Wei team, had her eyes sank and ordered calmly. Hearing this, the team members behind her all looked solemn, and the giant spirit military pattern that gradually appeared on the back of her hand suddenly burst into dazzling giant spirit light. Now, the stars are united. Roar, Meteor Silver Dragon, feeling the trembling of the military order and military pattern on the back of his hand, Chen Wei's mind moved, and his right hand swung violently. The majestic giant spirit power on the back of his hand quickly turned into thousands of streamers that wrapped around the whole body of the Meteor Silver Dragon. In an instant, a mysterious giant spirit military pattern enveloped the Meteor Silver Dragon, and then disappeared with the light. A silver dragon with a head protruding like a silver meteor, blue dragon eyes, countless stars flashing on the chest, and silver wings behind it suddenly appeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. Looking at the Meteor Silver Dragon in front of him, whose size had doubled and whose aura had surged nearly 5 times, Chen Wei's face showed a desire that was difficult to conceal. Today, I, Chen Wei, will create history again. Meteor destruction. As the Beastmaster's thoughts fell, the Meteor Silver Dragon, whose strength had skyrocketed, suddenly turned into a silver beam and rushed into the sky. The next second, a huge silver star suddenly appeared in the dark sky, and endless star power continuously gathered in it. Seeing this, the members of the Chen Wei team flashed a trace of surprise and hope in their eyes. Then, under the shocked eyes of everyone, the star fell, and the sound of the gas explosion resounding through the sky roared throughout the venue. Many members of the Chen Wei team even covered their ears to try to reduce the pain caused by the sonic boom. Interesting, knowing that I can't dodge, so you infuse all the source power of your pet and go all out, intending to achieve success in one battle. The corners of the black dragon's mouth rose slightly, as if mocking, admiring, or both. Yes, this farce should end. After saying that, countless black energy balls appeared around the black dragon, which made people feel particularly palpitating just by seeing it. Chapter 325 The Four Heavenly Kings. 60%, no, 40% Crazy Dragon Energy Cannon. Fearing that he might accidentally kill the Meteor Silver Dragon who dared to defy his superiors, the Black Armor Dragon adjusted its power and then shot countless extremely dark energy balls on its body towards the meteor falling rapidly in the sky. Take advantage of this opportunity to use the pseudo-giant skill, Giant Star Day, again. Seeing that the Black Armor Dragon still did not take the Meteor Silver Dragon's attack seriously, Qin Zihuan's eyes lit up and he ordered decisively. You know, only pets that have entered the giant spirit posture can use giant spirit skills. This is common sense that beastmasters must understand when learning beast cooperation. But there are always exceptions. His pet, the meteor silver dragon, can break the rules and use giant spirit skills without entering the giant spirit posture. Although the pseudo-giant spirit skills released by the meteor silver dragon are not as powerful as the tenfold skill increase of the giant spirit posture, and they also consume all the giant spirit power in the body in an instant. But even so, this pseudo-giant skill can still make the meteor silver dragon burst out with unprecedented terrifying power in an instant. At this time, as the meteor silver dragon let out a piercing roar, a starlight as bright as daylight suddenly burst out from the falling meteor. The majestic body of the black armored dragon was instantly engulfed by the white light, and then the meteors that fell from the sky continued to be destroyed and shattered. A dazzling light suddenly rose slowly, and the earth submerged by the white light began to annihilate and evaporate crazily. Did it succeed? Looking at the scene that seemed like the end of the world in front of him, Qin Zihuan couldn't help but turn his head to look at the panting meteor silver dragon beside him. Roar! Under the expectant eyes of the Beastmaster, the meteor silver dragon shook his head unwillingly. As the caster of the skill, it could clearly feel that all the attacks it launched were ruthlessly wiped out by the opponent like a drop in the ocean. Failed again, Qin Zihuan subconsciously clenched his fists, his face full of unwillingness and despair. Hearing this, the team members behind him also had a dark face. If even such an exquisite attack could not defeat the black dragon, what other beastmaster in the world could defeat it? Not bad, you can make me feel a little pain, you are pretty good. A gust of wind blew by, and the black dragon, who seemed to be surprised and not even stained with dust, looked at Qin Zihuan with interest. Are there more interesting things for me to play with? A glimmer of light flashed, and the huge black dragon suddenly appeared beside Qin Zihuan. It seems that there are no more. Looking at Qin Zihuan's pale face, a trace of boredom flashed in the eyes of the black dragon, and then he slapped all the people and pets in front of him out of the core area with his tail. Then, the black dragon looked up at the sky city that dominated everything and could not be touched in the sky, with a bit of doubt on his face, and muttered. Emperor Qin is really crazy. Apart from you, how can a mortal fight against a legend? Isn't this going to lock me up in this ruins that never sees the sun? The central area of the Qin Shi Huang ruins. Chen Wei was riding on the back of Kai Ling, speeding towards the gate of the checkpoint at a speed faster than the speed of sound. Just as he was about to reach the gate, a dark crack suddenly appeared above the tightly closed gate, and then 7 unfamiliar figures suddenly fell out of the crack. Seeing this, Chen Wei's eyes fixed, and as his mind turned, Kai Ling landed beside the 7 people at lightning speed. Looking at the group of alert young men in military uniforms in front of him, Chen Wei smiled. Excuse me, are you the team holding the He family Jade Seal? As Chen Wei said this, Qin Zihuan and others, who were already depressed because of the failure of the mission, suddenly changed their faces and looked at him with vigilance. If Qin Zihuan's meteor silver dragon was not in good condition, the team members consumed too much source power by using the beast control cooperation, and the beastmasters who were able to enter the number 1 Qin Shi Huang ruins were all innocent beastmasters. I am afraid they would have captured the beastmaster who exposed their mission long ago. You know, the mission of the Qin Wang team this time is a top-secret mission assigned by the superiors of the Legion, and no information is allowed to be leaked. In addition, the He family Jade Seal is a 9th-level immortal source weapon that can protect the country, so their team can't be too careful. Thinking of this, Qin Painter, the captain of the Qin Wang team, looked at the strange beastmaster riding a mysterious dragon in front of him, and his thoughts flashed quickly in his mind. Should I arrest this person for interrogation or escort the He family Jade Seal away safely first? Just when Qin Painter frowned, Ai Jing'an, the most gentle little sister in the team, was staring at Kai Ling in a daze. It seems that I didn't find the wrong person. The He family Jade Seal is of great importance. How should I convince them? Seeing that some of the beastmasters couldn't hide their panic and surprise, Chen Wei became more and more certain that he had found the right target. Well, is the He's Jade Seal you mentioned the one used by Emperor Qin to rule the world? If you have important information about the He's Jade Seal, I can ask the chief for credit for you after confirming the news is true, and maybe I can get a ground-level Azure Dragon badge. Qin Painter pretended to be anxious and asked, wanting to confirm the specific source of the new beastmaster from the side. Are you Chen Wei, one of the 4 new kings this year? Before Chen Wei could reply, Ai Jing'an, who was standing aside, suddenly exclaimed. Hearing this, the team members who had been training in the Legion for many years and had never heard of anything outside looked at Chen Wei with surprise. The Four Heavenly Kings, such a majestic title is probably not something that ordinary epic masters dare to use. Could this kid be of great origin? Four Heavenly Kings. Chen Wei's face suddenly darkened when he heard the girl's exclamation. As the saying goes, good news doesn't go out, but bad news travels 1,000 miles. He didn't expect that the title given by the online jokers would be so widely spread that he was recognized all of a sudden. On the other hand, thinking of the origin of this title, Ken Petier's eyes looking at Chen Wei suddenly relaxed. The Four Heavenly Kings are the title of the most top-level genius beast masters of the new generation in Donghua, and they are worthy of her trust. Maybe Chen Wei received a secret mission from the superiors of the Corps during the military training. In this way, he knew the information about the He family Jade Seal. However, for the sake of caution, Ken Petier still said, Heavenly King covering Earth Tiger. Hearing this obviously a handover code, Chen Wei's face froze and explained, I am not from the Corps, but I have an urgent matter involving human lives that I want your help. Seeing that Chen Wei couldn't match the code, Ken Petier's face remained calm, but her heart was alert. What favor? I need you to carry the He's Jade Seal through the core area of the Qin Shi Huang ruins to the Sky City, so I want to go through the core area's checkpoints with you. The He's Jade Seal was too valuable, so in order to avoid causing their misunderstanding, Chen Wei had to say this. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.